Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sailor Nation Sports. Nick Davros, Joe Kanukin, Cohen Holman, and my friend, we got a guest up here in the box, don't we?
We do.
Who do we got, brother?
Class of 1991 alum, Mona Shore Sailor, Mr. Eric Allen. Eric, thanks for joining us for this awesome opportunity, our first opportunity to bring track to the Sailor Nation Sports Network fans, and you get to be on the first one.
Yeah, quite a big
deal.
No
pressure.
No beautiful night for running. We've had some great performances already in the prelims, and it's looks like it's going to be a great night.
You know, one thing that Eric doesn't realize, though, once he's in, he's always in. He's not going anywhere. So anytime we have a track meet, you're with us. You got it?
We do.
Because the people we bring in, Joe, they always make us sound better. It's really about us sounding better, right?
Yeah. You never knew that was the case.
So I'm Nick Davros here. We got Cohen Holman. He's going to be up and about. Is Cohen up in the bird's nest?
Cohen is in the bird's nest.
Cohen's up in the bird's nest. Kimmon's got the afternoon off, busy doing what he's got to do, and it is absolutely a gorgeous day. Mid-80s, blue skies, south breeze out of the south. Eric, you couldn't ask for a better day for a track meet.
No, not really. I think for the only thing that might be a little bit of a challenge is for the distance runners. Still a little warm based on what they've been running on so far this spring.
Yeah,
a lot of cold weather, a lot of wind,
cold weather.
And it flipped quickly, right? So hopefully this week they got acclimated a little bit.
Well, it's OK Green Conference Track Championships, and Eric, You were, and I'm talking to a colleague of yours just this afternoon. In fact, Stevie DeLong, you guys were collaborating a little bit. We're going to see some outstanding athletes, and one in particular from Holland.
Yeah, Levi Holdert from Holland. Honderd from Holland potentially could win 4 individual events today. I take that back. They scratched him from the Open 400, but he's going to, I'm sure, anchor their 4x400 relay. But Levi is ranked number 1 in the whole state of Michigan for the long jump. Those finals are going on right now as we speak, so we should get those. And I think he's ranked number 1 in the 100 and 200, which is saying quite a bit given the kid from Muskegon, Piggy, is one of the top athletes in the state as well.
And I saw earlier when we were looking through what they expect to be the top runners in each race on athletic.net. Piggy was actually in front of him just by a little bit in one event. I don't recall what it was.
Yeah, I believe it's in the 100. Piggy actually has a brother that I believe is running too that put up the fastest qualifying time in the first event, which we're going to see here in a little bit, which is 110 men's hurdles. So looks like there's some lineage happening there as well.
Oh, some lineage. Listen to this, Joe. We got some say, hey, just got a text from Steve DeLong. And the text is to you there, old Godfather. It says, Joe, thanks for adding another pretty face in the booth tonight to help detract from the Greek freak himself. I'm sure Eric will do a nice job. And Steve, he is going to do a nice job. But you know how Steve's name, it's Stevie Stats during football. And the part-time wonder that he is he was down in Holland doing something. I had a nice chat with him today. But we've got a great day. We've got a good meet. And Eric, looking at this and some of the Zeeland schools are just loaded in all aspects, from distance to field events to some sprinters. I mean, they bring a complete program to this championship meet.
Yeah, and I'll switch gears a little bit and talk about the women's side of the business.
Yeah,
the women's
please do.
side. So Levi will probably be the talk of the meet from the men's side. Mona Shores has got an athlete that's really there too. Annabeth Hillen, who has already won the women's long jump today. She's ranked 1 and 2 respectively in the 200 and 100. But with that, there is a really strong competitor out of Zeeland East, Allie DeLost, who we expect to battle with Annabeth all night long. Allie's going to run the 100, the 200, and more likely than not anchor both the 4x1 and 4x2 for Zeeland. So there's some coaching decisions that are made in there as to whether to put a runner into a relay versus an open event. Allie could have also gone and ran a 400 individual, but I think that the Zeeland schools are both going to be competing for the conference championship overall.
Question for you then comes into play. Pulling somebody out from a relay and doing an open or vice versa, point-wise, you get more points than in a relay than you do in an individual, Eric?
Right. So if you take first in a relay, it's 10 points. If you take 6, it's 1. If you take first in an individual event, it's 10 points. 6th would be 1 there as well. So let's say you have the best. Well, Holland is a great example.
Yeah.
Levi. Holland does not have a lot of support for Levi, although I believe he is going to run the 4x4 from the entries that we had. He doesn't have a lot of support there, and so Levi, rather than potentially winning the 404 individual events, it looks like Holland's going to come in ranked 3rd in the 400, or 4x400. So it's a little interesting decision for the coach.
Wow. So so it's 10 points versus.
It would be 6 if
yeah,
they finished
right.
at their
Exactly.
seed,
right. So.
Now, some of it could be the weather too. It's hotter. That is a full schedule for him because he's going to do the long jump. Well, he's doing the long jump now, and then he'll have all 3 events left to go. The 4x400 is the last event, so it gives him a little bit more gap between his events.
It gives him a chance to rest the legs, catch his air, get a little fluid in him as well.
And one of the things we'll talk about is recovery. So the meets that the athletes have been running all year have been a little bit of a different format when they run the men's 100, they could have 4 or 5 heats because there's so many entries in that. We've already gotten through all of that this afternoon. The heats have been run, the finals are set, which means their recovery time for a lot of these athletes is going to be a lot quicker than they're used to, because they're not going to have to go through 5 or 6 heats of 100, men's and women's, and then same for the hurdles and the 200 as well.
That's probably the only way you're going to get through this kind of heat, is that not having to run all of that stuff.
Correct, yeah. And so those athletes, a lot of those ran the 100. We got here about 4 o'clock, and they were finishing up the first heat. So they've had a couple of hours to cool down after their heats. Like I said, the stage is set kind of for a lot of the big Showtime events. The other one I think will be interesting will be the men's mile. You have 6 or 7 kids within 5 to 6 seconds of each other.
Wow.
The top 3 are only separated by a second or 2. I fully expect heat to play into that event. How are people going to?
Well, not only that, the air temperature, but the black track absorbing the sun and the heat coming off as you're running either the mile or the 2 mile. That will be grueling. It's going to take wear and tear on your body, but your legs, especially that heat, the pounding.
Yeah, and we don't have much wind here tonight.
No.
I'm looking at the flags, but it is blowing straight down the track.
Yeah, so it's coming right out of the south.
Yeah, so we run from north to south at Sailor Stadium, and so we're going to be running into a little bit of a headwind. So potentially our sprints could be a little bit slower time, especially 100 meter, 110 hurdles.
Yeah, and we'll keep watching the flag. As the meet continues. Is it 9? Is it is it picking up maybe, or is it going to stay the same? But no matter what's going to happen, it's going to be a really good meet.
In just a few minutes here, we're going to have the national anthem to open up our finals here, and then right after that, we get right to business. And you said, correct me if I'm wrong, was it the 100 hurdles? Is that?
Yeah, it would be the men's 110 hurdles. They're run at 39 inches, and then immediately following that, the hurdle crew will get out there. It'll go to the women's 100-meter hurdles, and they'll drop those down to 33 inches for the women.
So welcome, everybody, here to Sailor Nation Sports Network. We're here at the John Vandervelde and Nexus Realty broadcast booth in the press box at Sailor Stadium, and this is the second to last athletic event to occur on the field. Now, most of this isn't on this field, but there are all the participants kind of stay on the infield portion of this. Track is going to stay, but tomorrow we will be broadcasting the very last event, sporting event, the girls lacrosse. And then the 16th of May is when this is expected.
Monday.
Yeah, Todd said Monday. Monday
they start tearing it up. So, but it's a.
Are we going to do like a live remote of the official tearing up? You think maybe
a time lapse?
Maybe. That would be cool to do like a time lapse.
I think that'd be really cool to do.
Why don't you sit out here while they do it?
Yeah. Why don't I do
with a camera
somewhere or something?
Yep, just hold it real still.
Just hold it.
Yeah.
Still.
So you get a good time lapse on that.
You'll be standing all summer, Nick.
Yeah, right.
Once again, if you're just joining us, we are here at the Sailor Stadium for the OK Green Conference Championship track and field event. Myself, Joe Kanuka, Nick Davros, our my good friend for years and years and years through sports. Eric and I played baseball together.
Did you guys graduate together, too?
He graduated in 91, Steve graduated in 92, and I graduated in 93.
Got the Three Musketeers right next to Dear Lord, give me strength.
We got Cohen up top. Yeah. Earlier today, we were able to broadcast the Ride with Pride assembly, where they gave away an electric bike to the lower class, and then the upper class they got the opportunity to win a car.
Yeah, my daughter was actually one of the 10 finalists for the bike.
Oh, how cool is that?
She was knocked out second. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Hey, just got another text from Steve. Steve is not part-time. Steve is full-time. His son is one of the premier golfers on that senior laden state ranked. I believe they're number 2 in the state behind Brother Rice. And Steve's going to be heading up to Ferris for a big invitation up there. Stevie, you want to wish your son, the rest of the team, the very best of luck. Keep going.
I do have to give Steve a little bit of credit where this, he does participate. He does give back to Sailor Nation Sports Network. He's been doing a lot of posts out there. He's been making sure that there's content out there on Sailor Nation Sports Network, reference the various different things that are happening within the Mona Shores athletic family. He is pulling a little bit away.
I'm going to take a lot of that back. Yeah, Steve does a lot of things behind the scenes, and I've got to remember to give accolades to those that do that.
Yeah, Owen's had a couple of really good. Owen DeLong's had a couple of really good matches as recent. I think he had a little bit of a couple of disappointing finishes that he's really kind of bounced back. I think he's been the low scorer for the last 2 competitions.
That's great. Yeah. Steve should be Steve and his wife should be very proud. He's a nice young man, representing the family name very well. Very, very well.
Yes. That'll be nice next football season. I'm sure we'll have lots of Stevie stats all around us.
Steve Steve's a joy to have.
Eric, we could bring you in. We could have you as one of the on-field sideline reporters. If you wanted to do that.
I don't know that hopefully my son is still playing next year, so
he's going to be up here sitting and watching.
I'll be watching for one more year, hopefully.
There you go. After that, then you're ours.
Yeah, we need to call all boys long jump. They don't know who they are. They're going to bring the names up. But you can say right now, long jump finalists. If boys long jump finalists go to the long jump pit now, I will read names as soon as they hit the box. We're waiting for Anthem until that's done. No, we're gonna. It's already 6 o'clock.
So we're creeping up on the 6 o'clock hour here at Sailor Stadium with the OK Green Conference Championship Finals for track and field.
Yeah, we're a couple minutes away from the start.
Quite a few great opportunities for contests. We'll give you guys an opportunity of what we're going to look at here. We've got the overhead camera that you're seeing right there, and then you've got the finish line there, which is pretty nice. So between these, we should get some good opportunity for instant replay. Hopefully we got a few finishes that are really close. We'll be able to break them down for you.
Start first call on the Anthem, and we'll start the call.
Listening to Athletic Director Todd Conrad, who has been extremely busy today with organizing various different things. We are going to be doing the national anthem here in about 90 seconds.
It's 6.
And we'll be getting underway with this contest. So, Eric, what did you do in track when you were there?
I like that. What did you do? Did you really do something, Eric?
What did you compete in?
Come on, Eric. What'd you do?
Yeah. So when I was in high school, we had a pretty good distance
Who was your coach?
crew. I had Otto Borgeson.
Oh, Otto, yeah.
Coach Otto.
Yep.
Yeah, he was our coach back then, and then our distance coach was a guy named John Adams, who is been a basketball coach in the area for years. And
I
really
remember John. Yeah,
really good runner back in the day. But I was primarily on the distance crew. Ran 800 the mile, 3200 meter, and 400 meter or 4x4 relay and 4x8. You have to kind of be versatile when you're one of those distance runners. But then in college, I primarily just ran the mile and the mile relay, ironically.
Very nice.
My daughter ran a 200 before.
Did Nate play basketball this year?
Nathan did not do basketball this year. So.
6'6", 250.
Well, he
just power lift.
He just lifted all
okay.
winter long, and
Good.
Took a little bit of a break. I mean,
that's okay.
The one thing that's interesting with a lot of those athletes is that football season in 21 went till the end of January. Right?
Ever.
So coming into the basketball season last year, he just
tired.
He was beat.
He was beat. His body was beat.
Yeah. And honestly, all of those boys, they don't get much of a break from 7th grade on, right? They keep going year round and doing something usually.
Yeah, no. So we're about a minute away here, brother, guys, and we're going to get broadcasting here. OK Green Conference Track Championships here at the beautiful complex here on the Sailor Stadium field here, and you're looking at the grass, and boy, I tell you what, Lacrosse just beats it up.
Well, I don't think they put the same kind of care into this throughout the season, simply knowing that they wouldn't have to worry. Yeah,
well, especially this year.
There were a couple of different lacrosse games where Todd said that they probably wouldn't have had it because of the field conditions, but they didn't care because it's going to get torn up anyway. So.
And honestly, what a great thing to redo the stadium. I mean, a lot of people think it's for football, but the reality is football plays on it regardless, right? So all of the other things are going to have unlimited access to the stadium.
At the most, there would be maybe 8 games a year. If you finish number 1 in your region, you win in the playoffs. Let's just say, in theory, you have 5 home games during the regular season, then 3 playoffs. That's all you got. You got 8 weeks, and then that means your JVs are all on the road a ton.
Yep. And you got varsity, or you got JV and freshmen in there a little bit, and football again? A little bit. No, we're talking about how much the field is going to get used now, and how beat the grass has been beat up.
Yeah, football, lacrosse, youth league, the band's going to be able to do a lot more. Maybe a hose competition. I don't know, but it's a win-win for the community.
Yeah, going to be great that the stadium can be used.
As we honor America with our national anthem.
That brings us up to the start.
110-meter hurdle, so last call.
We are ready.
We are
Eric, you ready?
I am ready.
Joseph?
Yes,
I am ready. About as ready as I could be.
Yeah. Colin, you ready there, brother? Because we are going here, and OK Green Track Conference Championship is at stake here. And I tell you what, as Eric alluded to, we have got some athletes out there that are just... Well, it's just going to be joy to watch these young athletes, whether they're male or the female. It's just going to be absolutely a joy to watch us, and we're glad to be able to bring it to you.
We are indeed.
Yeah, so those of you unfamiliar with the sprinting events, we've already run the preliminaries of the 110 hurdles, and they are placed in lanes by seed. And so your lanes 4 and 5 are going to be your top qualifiers from this afternoon, and then going out from there. So the top qualifier right now is actually a freshman from Muskegon, Michael Piggy, I think is his name, or Pidgey?
Piggy.
Whose brother is going to be one of the top qualifiers in the 100 and the 200.
His dad was quite an athlete when I was coaching at Muskegon. He was just an incredible athlete.
So unfortunately, no Mona Shores runners have made it through to the finals. Zeeland West is going to be a repetitive. Zeeland West and Zeeland East are going to have qualifiers in just about every event. But this one should be a pretty good race. On paper, Pidgey should win this.
Now, are there multiple heats in the finals, or just
no? We've already run our multiple heats, so at this point,
it's a one and done.
That's correct. And so the exciting thing here is this meet's going to move through pretty quickly. So it looks like we've got the
some
gun
meets
up
when you
right
got
now.
a million heat just in the 100 and the 200.
Right.
And we're off.
You can see it's kind of like looking at a flock of geese going here because of how they seeded it, right?
Piggy with a slight lead right there. Looks like Piggy's going to win it right here.
With the two Zealand West kids finishing second, third. So, a little bit of a stumble with the Reese Puffer athlete Parker Lidstrom there at the end to kind of pull back a little bit. But
take a look on the Lake Michigan Insurance Instant Replay for the finish.
Please adjust the height of the hurdles.
And again, it was Picky by about maybe a quarter of a second on that one, and followed by the two Zealand runners.
Yeah, I mean, coming out of the semis, he was about half a second above everybody else. So I didn't want him to be too anticlimactic, but that one was kind of decided as long as he got out of the starting blocks on time.
As long as he didn't stumble, he was going to go for the win, right?
Or obviously with the hurdles, the big challenge is not clipping a hurdle, right?
Trips over one or just runs through it.
From Zealand West, Claire Story, and from Zealand West, Clara Kraft.
So we got our first one underway, and we got our first opportunity to see the finish line instant replay, which was pretty awesome. I'm glad we were able to do that.
Is that Mike Meekoff down there?
It is certainly
from
Mike
M7
Meekoff.
Sports.
Yep, M7 Sports, yeah, drawing all the big names out here.
Yeah, look at us, boy. All the big people are here.
Now we move on to the girls 110, or is it 110?
It's a 100-meter hurdle. So they're going to, for the females, they'll drop the hurdles down from 39 inches down to 33 inches, and then they'll only go 100 meters versus 110 for the boys. So those of you not familiar with the hurdles, your best hurdlers are going to typically take 7 to 9 steps to that first hurdle, and then between every hurdle, they'll only take 3 steps. So your top hurdlers are going to actually jump with every other hurdle will be with the opposite leg. Wow. If you try to add that 4th step in there, that you slow down quite a bit. So that's why they go from 110 to 100 between the boys and the girls. It's just because typically the boys have a little bit longer gait, and women aren't able to 3-step at 110 meters.
A little trivia question here for the both of you. Who do you know that's sitting between you that coached 20 years track for the Muskegon Public Schools?
See, I told you he was going to bring it up that he was a track coach.
Yeah, for 20 years, thinking we had some incredible athletes back in the day.
Now, what school was that at?
At Steele Middle School back in the day. And, it was fun.
So this particular final for the girls 100 is going to be a showdown between Zealand East and Zealand West. The only one to crack the finals other than those two schools is Layla Harris out of Muskegon, who has the 3rd best qualifying time.
Really?
That's correct. But
the
2 girls out of Zealand East actually have the 1 and 2 qualifier. Zealand West is 4th here.
Okay. All right.
So this should be a little bit closer of a race between the top 2.
It'll be a fun race to watch then, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's one of the reasons Zealand East and West have proven to be such a competitive track and field team. I think Zealand East is always in the running for state championships as a team.
Yeah.
But when you have 2 runners that are the top in the conference and they're separated by less than a 1/10 of a second through the prelims, they can't help but push each other in practice and in meets.
Sure, right. Yeah. Just saw one of dear old friend of mine at Menards 2 days ago, Johnny Robinson, longtime track starter back in the day. Yeah. Said to say hi, told him about that. I want to wish everyone just the very best. Gave up that a few years ago. He's retired now.
Yeah, you know, as we kind of wait for the track, you mentioned the powerhouse that is Zealand East and West.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of it is the field events, and if we do a run through of the shot put and the discus, you're going to see. I think East had that event's already been done, but I think they had 5 of the top 7 throwers in the conference were all from Zealand East, and
you're going to get a lot of points just from your field events as well, and then you add a few running events there, and you got a championship underneath your belt.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about just coming on a shot put, you've got, 10, 18, 24 points just from Zealand East because they took 1st through 3rd. So it's a lot to overcome.
It is.
So much of a technical event are the field events, especially the shot and the disc. Mm-hmm. When you watch some of the lesser teams, take my son for example, he's not spinning, he's out there throwing the shot, but it's more from a prone position because there's so much technique in that spin.
Right, yeah.
When you get to Zealand East, you're not throwing unless you're spinning.
Yeah, right.
But they're working on it all winter long.
Right.
All right, girls are getting ready to start their blocks
Angelina
here.
did shot and distance and a couple running events, but yeah, it's technique, and you've got to practice it over and over. you go back to Muskegon, and a lot of the speed events are going to come from Muskegon. A lot of the distance will come from certain schools. And every school has their area of excellence in
Gun
certain
is up
events.
here. Looks like we have a scratch in lanes 3 and 7. But here are the two Zeeland East runners out front. That's Peyton here out front right now with Brent.
Boy, look at
Blanton
her
in
form.
second.
Boy,
Yeah,
look at her
1,
just
2,
striding
3,
out
1,
there.
2, 3. See, and you watch the girls behind. There's a lot of 3 and 4, 5 step in there.
And changing their, either right leg, left, left, and the 3-step allows you to left leg, or right leg all the time.
Looks like
Just
Layla Harris was actually the scratch out of Muskegon, and Zeeland East went 1, 2, 3 there. I think that's right, Joe, right?
Yep, I believe so.
So the hurdle crew is going to take their hurdles off right now.
Very,
What do we
very
got
close.
next there, big guy? What do we got next event?
We are going next to, that's a good question, Nick. I think it's the 100-meter finals.
Yeah.
These are the, let's see here.
Let's look it up here.
So this is going to be a good showdown. We do have a Mona Shores finalist in here, and Dimitri Roberson.
Roberson's in it? Okay.
And this is the first time we'll see Levi Hundred, who is one of the top track and field athletes in the state. We get the pleasure of watching tonight. J.C. Riley out of Reese Puffer. Ironically, I have known him since he was in about 4th grade. When we used to live up there, I actually coached J.C. in football, in little Pee Wee football. So really good kid. And Destin Pidgey is in here as well, and so that's a little bit of a lower seed for Pidgey. He's actually coming into this meet was ranked 2nd behind Levi, so I expect this to be a fantastic race. Also another name on there from Mona Shores people, we have Jalen Vinton is in there, and formerly of Mona Shores, CJ Ivy is in there, now running for Muskegon.
CJ Ivy transferred?
CJ and his family moved. They are now living in Muskegon.
I did not know that.
So
okay. Jalen Vinton just got offered a scholarship to Western Michigan University.
Correct.
Man, I'll tell you what a beautiful day. A little warm, but I tell you, it's beautiful.
Hey, it beats cold. We've had cold for long enough.
These poor track and field athletes have run in some terrible weather.
Well,
I think the first one of the year was canceled because of snow and ice.
Well, any spring sport, whether it was softball, the girls, soccer, lacrosse, it was horrible. It's finally catching up nicely.
Yeah, looks like the gun is up. He's having them take their smarks right now. When that second hand goes up, there you go. And we get the gun.
All right, here we go.
Wow, great start.
By Roberson.
Great start by Roberson and Pidgey. Levi is in his, whoa. Nice job, Roberson.
Roberson's going to take second. Piggy looks like he's going to go away with the win.
Levi Hundred looked like he was in cement blocks coming out and starting. That was a huge upset.
Boy, I'll tell you what, looking at this instant replay, and I'm glad you guys can see this there, that was tight. As we look at the finish line finish here, he comes across to Piggy was just out in front.
Yeah, Piggy was just out there, but Dimitri was shot out of a cannon.
Fantastic run.
Great job by Dimitri Roberson.
I didn't get a chance to see how Vinton.
Let's take a look one more time on the instant replay. We'll even slow it down. We'll slow it down when we get to the finish here.
It happened so quick here, so.
Just kind of by a step, really.
So it looks like Vinton might have snuck into the top 5 there.
Yep, possibly. I love this instant replay. This is the Christmas present of 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whatever it is now, that we got from the
hockey program?
Lake Michigan Insurance. Mr. Ryan Ruzicki sponsored that instant replay for us.
So I know I've said watch for 4 and 5 typically in the sprints, but in this particular final, it's the women's 100 final. Annabeth Hillen came out of the semis with the number 1 seed in lane 4. I expect her competition to be to her left, Allie DeLost out of Zeeland East. I've watched them run a couple of times this year, and they really go back and forth. Typically, Allie's going to win the 100-meter, and Annabeth typically clips her in the 200, but they're always fantastic races. So this should be a really exciting one as well.
You know, DeLonger's right about this guy. He knows his stuff, and he makes it sound
well,
good.
when he reached out to me and he said, hey, you know, what do you think about me helping you? I'm like,
Good
yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Annabeth had a great start.
Great start.
Yep, she's
Taking the lead.
Oh, she's pulling
that's
away
a
now,
great
too.
Run, Annabeth.
Nice run.
Good.
Boy, she started pulling away about halfway down there, Eric.
That's a really good. That might be the best start I've seen her get this year, and I think if you talk to her or her family, Ben and Sam, that's been one thing that she's really had to work on this year, and she really got shot out of the cannon there.
And you can see right about the sailor mark, which is about halfway, she started to turn on that second gear. And she just pulled away with nobody else even close.
I mean, when you talk about Annabeth, you talk about an athlete that's going to be missed at Mona Shores, a 3-sport athlete with volleyball starting as a middle hitter, obviously on the basketball team, and now track and field obviously is her number 1. She's just going to be missed next year.
There's a lot of good senior athletes among the boys and the girls in really all of the sports. You know, football is graduating below, girls basketball. The golf team is extremely senior heavy.
Yes.
Very senior heavy. But seniors get you to that point where you're pushing for a conference championship. You're making the playoffs. You're pushing for a state championship run as well.
Mm-hmm. So I believe we're going next to the 4x800. So
Okay.
you're going to move your starting blocks. We just have to move them down to the other end of the track here. So for this is going to be a 4x8. So, oh wait, I'm sorry, we've already run that, haven't we? Yeah, so we've already run the 4x800 relay.
We have? When did we do that?
We ran that early because that one takes half an hour to 45 minutes.
Right,
by the time
I got you.
cycle through the girls
Okay,
and the
all
boys.
right.
So,
Now, Cohen, while we're setting up here real quick for this next event, if you look over at the scoreboard, as you can see, we're doing double duty over here. All of the events on athletic.net we are also putting up. This is currently the varsity men's pole vaulting results. We have that responsibility as well here at Sailor Stadium, is to share that with everybody that's here. So we've been kind of rotating through all the results that we have that are finals on athletic.net. You can also find these at athletic.net. It's pretty easy to navigate through to find what you're looking for. If you're interested and we have not mentioned or show it on the screen, you can find that athletic.net.
all right, so looking at the track, I now know what we're running. We're going to run the 4x2. The 4x2.
Oh, so it's a nice little speed event coming up.
Yeah, and we do have a very... So here's where I was talking about the tight turnaround. We're going to have a couple of athletes in Roberson and Vinton who just got done running 100 who have to double back, although I don't know that they're going to be at too much of a disadvantage because I suspect the usual suspects that we're running against them are going to be out there as well.
You know, I like how Joe says we're doing double duty. Joe's pretty much doing double duty. You and I are just talking. You just keep doing that double duty.
I'll keep doing that double duty.
That's right.
It's good to know.
Take mine, Todd. Okay.
Todd just said he's going to double my pay for this.
That's right.
I appreciate that very much.
And not only double duty here, but Joe was doing double duty at the fire station. Joe was playing commander-in-chief of the Norton Shores Fire Department for the last couple of days.
That's really not anything new. I mean, it just means that there's no other layers between me and responsibility.
No, Joe. You're almost like the Vice President of the United States. You're second in command, Joe.
I am
All
second
right.
in command.
All right, then.
So I don't see Shores with a team out there right now. I'm trying to see who our leadoff is, but I see the boys on the other side. Oh, it looks like McNiff's coming back potentially.
Well, there's
from the
Ryan
long
right
jump
over there.
pit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think McNiff's probably our leadoff runner, and so this is the challenge of. We were hoping to have all the field events before we went live to the running events, but McNiff is having to run across the field here to get
What's
ready.
McNiff doing? A long jump?
Yeah, him and Jalen were probably doing the
long jump. Yeah.
So you
that
can
would
see
make
them
sense.
running. So unfortunately, he's going to come in a little bit hot. Hopefully, they hold him and let him. They will start out of a starting block here for this relay.
Cohen, if we can get you to swing around to the right, we'll notice instead of in the starting blocks to the north, this one starts pretty much at the finish line, and this is the...
There's Vinton going out there right there now.
Yeah, so Vinton will be our third leg.
Right.
Taking that position.
Staggered start on this one as well.
So correct, and so for the relays, kind of the same thing. Your number 1 seed is going to be Zeeland West in lane 4. Actually, Mona Shores is the second best seed. We're going to be starting out in lane 5. Which you can argue that lane 5 is a little bit of a disadvantage. I think if I wanted to pick my spot, if it wasn't number 4, it'd be number 3. You get to see what's ahead of you a little bit. They're going to hold their lanes the whole way. So Shore starting in 5, all 4 runners will start in 5. There is no cutting in, and that's why you're going to see such a big stagger from lane 1 to lane 5.
Yeah.
Or all the way out to 8.
And this is why DeLong suggested this guy, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely.
It just sounds so good. So good.
Roberson had to come in from
DeLong just said I had a
too.
face for radio is all he told me. So
he tells us the same thing.
He says the same thing. That's right. Well, Steve thinks he's got a face for television. That's the big laugh right there. But that's okay.
yeah, so I'm assuming, I'm trying to look who's at the track. We're going to go, who's going to lead off for us down there? It looks like Ryan McNiff is probably going to lead off.
Roberson over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to see the other side of the field if it's Roberson. With the relay, you often, and everybody will, have 5 people entered. I can't tell if that's Antonio Lewis or Roberson.
Who's the head coach of the boys track team for Shores?
Kyle Morales.
Oh, okay.
We actually have 3 athletes standing over there, so maybe they're going to make a last-minute decision as who's to anchor them if we're in
You
this
can
or
do
not.
that.
They
You
can
can't
do that right at the last
You
second.
can ink it, have it all inked in pre the race. I mean, you can wait till the last minute.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the
that's
day
why-
when I was coaching, you could, you had to have Sam Smith, this, and
Yeah.
and it
so
was
they all list 5 athletes, so any of those 5 athletes can.
Oh, okay. All
so
right.
As you watch this race, watch the handoff. Whoever gets the baton first is in the lead, typically.
Correct.
Because it's going to be difficult to see with these staggers. Lane 1, it could be in the lead, but be behind on
And
your
we're off.
screen.
And not only that, but it's going to be hard for us to see the exchange lanes as well.
Correct. So watch the batons, and
So McNiff
looks
is
like McNiff is making up the stagger on
yeah,
lane 6
boy,
and
big
7.
time too.
Coming out really strong.
Really good. In fact, he's going to be in
He
the
is
first of chain.
way out there.
McNiff just burned.
What
Okay,
a
now we got to watch.
blazing 200.
We got to watch.
Good
There's a
exchange
nice
there.
handoff. Great
exchange.
handoff. So is that Biddy right there?
No, that looks like it might be Antonio Lewis.
Antonio Lewis. All right.
Having a strong leg. Here comes Zeeland.
Boy, Zealand's picking up
But Zeeland
quickly
eases
though.
his way back there.
Well,
and
he's
they are
got
in a-
3 inches on him too.
So we're going to go to Jalen Vinton here. It's going to come
All
down
right,
to
here
this
we go.
exchange. Look at these.
Okay.
Antonio
Go.
spread it out. Oh, a little
Nice
bit of a
handoff.
bad. It was clean.
Not
Just
bad,
I'd like
yeah.
to see him up for a little bit more speed there.
All right, so
But
Vinton.
Vinton really digging here.
Yeah.
He's got to try to hold pace as much as he can because,
Yeah.
again, we've got to give that whole turn up on that final corner.
All right, here comes Vinton. Right, boy. Now see, now look. He's starting to get tired.
Love to see his head tip. And his
Well, the
shoulders come
head's
forward.
going up
Yeah.
in the air now a little
We're
bit
dragging
as
weight.
well. Yep. All right.
All
Good
right.
handoff there.
Yeah. Again, clean, but they're not coming off. They're not getting that exchange at full speed.
Correct.
All right.
But-
we got a little bit of making up here to do, and
This
we're
is Biddy
doing
here?
it. Yep. This is Roberson, I believe.
So here comes Roberson off a fantastic
coming up.
100 meters.
He's going to make this a tight one.
He's going to make it tight. I don't think he's going to have time, though.
Second.
Now he's starting to slow up
Yeah.
right there a little bit. He knows you can't make it up right there.
Yeah, and he might as well save himself. He's got some
Yeah.
events yet to come.
Yeah, well, he's got a couple more events left in him, right?
Probably got to go back to long jump. Yeah. So-
Yeah, he's gassed right now. It's hot on the track itself, and it's hot outside as well.
Yes, yeah. So as the evening goes on, it's going to start to cool off a little bit. But now as we're watching our flags, we've lost any bit of breeze that we've
Yeah,
had.
it's gone right now.
Yeah.
It's down. But you got to be happy with McNiff's start.
Oh.
McNiff looked good.
Fantastic, yeah.
Well, he got us a lead right away.
But I tell you what, that's a good second place finish there with that makeup.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the
So how many
stagger.
points there then?
So that'd be 8 points for the Shores team.
All right.
And one of the interesting things that's a little different than when I ran, you used to take first, second, or third, you would be all conference in your event.
Right.
But they really don't do that anymore. It's based on how many points you score at an individual meet. So you asked me a little bit about, like, Annabeth, the decision to run a relay versus individual.
Right.
I know in talking to Mr. Morales, one of the decisions to pull Annabeth out of the 400 meter was so that she could run that relay and potentially get some of her teammates all conference points by anchoring a relay that could score some. So a little bit of an unselfish move there.
So I'm looking at the team points right now, and this is mostly out of the field events. And obviously Zeeland East and Zeeland West have just dominated. You
almost
can see
doubled.
You can see them up there on the screen.
Is this the boys or the girls?
This is the men's.
Yeah, the women's is going to be similar.
The women's is very similar.
And Zeeland East again. Right. Zeeland East has to be one of the, I don't know if they do rankings for the state of Michigan, but I know watching my daughter and play volleyball and basketball in Zeeland East gyms, there's a lot of track and field championships hanging in their gym from Zeeland East of recent years. So they are definitely one of the powerhouses in the state, which leads us to this next event perfectly. Zeeland East is loaded for this. Although I don't know if there's an injury or something going on with Allie DeLost. I guess we'll get an opportunity to watch her potentially anchor this. Her 100 meter was not what we're used to seeing out of her. So I'd love to tell you Mona Shores has a chance here, but
probably comes down to that, really.
Yeah.
And whether or not she's able to really pull it through.
Yeah, fully loaded Zeeland East has a 4-second advantage, which is quite a bit in this event. But there could be a really close battle for second and third.
I'd like to once again thank everyone for joining us here at Sailor Nation Sports Network. John Vandervelde, the Nexus Realty broadcast booth here at Sailor Stadium Press Box. Our first track coverage in the 5 years that we've been doing this. It's the first track coverage that we've had. So it's a pleasure to be here on this beautiful day with these wonderful people.
Well,
and that includes you too, Nick.
Yeah, that's right up in there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. TK's here in the booth as well. Your first track meet as well, Trent. Yeah. Which is saying a lot. He's been around forever. Look at retired life on him.
They saved you for the best. You know, it's just not some dual meet or a double duel. This is a championship right here, big fella.
Gun is up here.
Girls are up.
If we're going to bring you in here, we're going to bring you in with the big boys at the right time.
Looks like Zeeland East and Reese Puffer are away pretty good. A girl from Holland is running really strong leg here. Yeah. So let's see. So a lot of times on the track here, each individual will have a mark, usually in a line of chalk, which is their trigger when to go. And you heard me in the boys race talk about I want them up to full speed. If they time that right, it should be about the middle of the zone and at full speed rather than picking up pace after the race or after they've gotten the baton. It's a little bit of a surprise. Who's in the lead there? That's Muskegon in the lead. That's a little bit of a surprise. Fourth best qualifying time here. We do see Zeeland East coming in. Let's see the exchange. That'll tell us a lot. Looks like Zeeland East is in the lead, but Reese Puffer and Muskegon both right there. Girl from Reese Puffer having a really good run here. And sometimes these non-track schools, they run out of athletes by the time we get to the anchor leg, Joe. But really impressive run out of...
So far.
Yeah. I'm sorry, that's Zeeland West on the inside corner there. And then here comes Allie DeLost, and we'll get another look at her to see how she's feeling tonight. Looks like she's pretty comfortable, although the girl from Zeeland West looks really strong coming through this corner. Maybe she smells a little bit of an opportunity here. Wow. I have to tell you, I got to believe Allie DeLost is hurt. There's got to be something going on with her. She just does not get caught in the 200 meters like that, so I don't exactly know what's happening, but she'll certainly be disappointed. Looks like Zeeland West actually won that race.
Let's take a look on the Lake Michigan Insurance Instant Replay.
Boy, and great finish.
Yeah.
That's going to be close.
Who got it?
We're going to see on the finish line.
Can we show replays up there?
We're not set up to show it up there,
Oh.
but here's our replay coming in, and
Yeah,
that's
that's
going to.
Zealand West.
Yep.
Wow.
Sure is.
That's a bit of an upset. And could play into the team standings here. I mean, 2 points in these relays is...
Great shots by Cohen up above. Great shots from our finish line camera. Seems to be just about perfectly set everywhere around. So
We would expect nothing less out of you than perfection, Joe. You know,
I know that's the pressure that I live under every day.
every single day. And you know what? You're up to it.
I am.
You've never let us stop. No, you're all around.
Always up to it.
So this is going to prove to be probably one of the best distance races of the night. This is the men's mile.
4 times around this baby, huh?
4 times around.
Yeah.
We've got 5 athletes within 10 seconds of each other coming in for season performances. The top 4 are only separated by 4 seconds. So this could come down to a bit of strategy.
Yeah.
Now, if this were me on a night like tonight with this field, I'd like to be comfortably running second or third spot, certainly through the first 3, and depending on, I mean, these boys all know each other. They know who's got the fastest finishing speed, so you might want to push that last 400 fast, but
it's interesting to watch the start too. I mean, it's like 2 steps and they're all flying into that first lane right now, jockeying for position right there.
Take every little foot off of that length that you can.
So you saw Clay Grant right there. He was in the lead. Actually, it's Coach Darren Grant from Reese Puffer's son. He got out to a nice little start. Coming off that corner, you saw him check up. He did not want that first position. You run in that first position for 4 laps. People don't realize how much of a toll that takes on you mentally and physically.
Well, I was going to bring that up. You know, you're always thinking, okay, I got the lead. How far behind are they? What do I have to do to stay in the lead? You're right. There's a ton of mental stuff, Eric, that a lot of people don't know.
He's already checking his shoulder, right? You can hear him there, but that is a tough position to run at.
And every time you check every time you look over your shoulder, you lose a half a step because you're using extra energy to do something else other than go forward.
So Caleb Branch from Mona Shores is in the mix here, and he's been having a strong season. But you talk about those head checks, Nick. Whenever I was running competitively, and anytime anybody checked over that shoulder, it kind of gave me a little bit of a boost of energy, thinking he's worried about me, and that means he's hurting.
Right.
And so
yeah. Well, it's just like football. You know, the ball carriers, once again, they always want to look behind this guy. Just run.
Yep.
Just run north and south. Don't look. If you get tackled, you get tackled. But every time you look, you're losing a half a step. Maybe you might even be losing a full step. You keep doing it.
So you see Clay Grant right there. I was worried he was going to take it into that corner in that lane too, but he's decided that this pace is not fast enough. And knowing Clay, he's more of a pure distance runner. This is probably one of his shorter distances that he likes to run. So he's not going to have finishing speed that others.
Now you mentioned it. Now we're going into the 3rd lap, right?
This will be the 3rd lap. This is where
like
you grind.
Money lap right here a little bit as well. It's a grind.
That first lap's pretty easy. You're feeling everybody out. You're getting into pace. The second lap tends to be okay. You're still working on a little bit of adrenaline. But in my mind, when I was running the mile, this is the one that I always felt like I had to push, because the last lap, again, you can kind of fuel on adrenaline the last 300 meters. Yep. You're almost done and you can feel it. But he's really opened us up, and I wish I would have started a clock on this, but he had a really good quarter.
Not only that, but he looks fresh too. It doesn't seem like there's any wear and tear on him at this point as well. The head is still parallel. It's not going up in the air. The arms are still moving good.
I really like what Mona Shore's Caleb Branch is doing here. He is tucked in behind the 2 Zealand West runners. He's having a really good run here, and he's in a good position. Let's see what happens coming through. The Zealand East runner seems to be looking pretty solid, but I don't know that he's going to have enough to catch Grant. Grant's a pretty decorated runner. Again, a coach's son, track coach's son. I ran against his dad, Darren, when I was in high school, and both went on to have collegiate careers. Darren's a great track and field coach for Reese Puffer. Clay's opening it up now.
I was just going to say, he just added a little bit of a gear there.
Yeah. Look at Caleb, perfect tuck. He's a strong kid. He's in the mix to possibly take 3rd. I think that pack, 4th place, I should say. That pack of 3 might pick up that other runner here. That's in third place. They're gaining on him pretty quickly, so
Just waiting in the
it'll be
wings.
a bit of a gut check. This is quite honestly a bit of a surprise that Clay has opened this up that much.
He's probably got a 40-yard lead on him right now.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's in the 420s right now, which is, 430 is kind of a threshold for the mile. It'll be interesting to see what the finishing time is. Did a little bit of a head check there, probably because he's surprised that nobody's with him.
Well, he's picked up the pace a little bit, too, coming around that last leg.
This is just no doubter. He looks comfortable.
Yeah, he looks very comfortable there.
He's got the 800 yet. His dad told me he's not running the 2 mile tonight, but he could probably back it off here and save some legs. He's got such a lead.
See, this is what Eric brings you, a little inside scoop right here. His dad told us. See, this is breaking news right now by Eric Allen.
Looks like Caleb Branch is going to finish sixth place for Mona Shore, so picking up a point for him. So that's a great run out of Caleb. And again, I apologize. I should have started my watch on that, but we'll get the stopwatches going here for the rest.
It's your first meet. Don't worry.
Yeah, I know, right?
Relax. We got you here.
So no contest whatsoever for our first place runner on that one. Was running all the way through, no problems.
Watching over here, Athletic Director Conrad looks like he's playing with like a box of toys over here. He's got all these medals, poor guy. He's trying to make sure that every team, this is arduous work right here.
Well, the coaches come in hot at the end of the meet, and they want their packets, and they want to go
they
home.
want them in, and Todd's working on it.
So what Todd's doing to my right here is every time an event finishes, he has to put the first through sixth place medal in
he's keeping
an individual
busy right
packet.
there, boy.
So
I'll tell you.
He's got the hardest job on the meet in the field right now.
Yeah. Well, just organizing me. Think about how many people you got working. It's just, it's tough. I know. I remember those.
So while we have a little bit of a minute set up, should mention we watched Anna Beth win the 100 meter, which was great. She was ranked second coming in here. But one of the other things that we did notice is she's also the conference champion in the long jump by almost a foot and a half.
Wow.
4 inches.
Yeah.
I know Anna Beth spent a lot of time this summer. I talked to her dad about some jump camps she went to over the summer, and he said he couldn't believe how much knowledge she downloaded from the camps and came home with a notebook full of notes.
Good for her.
And she's really put the time into her track and field. Ironically, the second place finisher is a freshman out of Zeeland East, which is my daughter actually played some travel basketball with her a few years ago. Mira Fenlon, really good basketball player for Zeeland East, and will be one of those names you'll see for the next 3 or 4 years. Sure. Actually, she'll be a sophomore next year, but she'll be one of those names you're going to...
Well, you won't see her for 3 more years for sure.
She'll be a thorn in my daughter's side for the next 3 years as Gracie goes through basketball and volleyball.
Make her work harder, that's right. So what sports is your daughter doing then?
She is volleyball and basketball, which is becoming really difficult with all the club travel for kids to do both of those. She's playing on a travel volleyball team right now.
Is she really? Wow.
Yeah. So we've got Grand Rapids this weekend, Columbus in 2 weekends, and then Orlando for the national championships. So
you're road warriors.
It takes a village to get her around for sure. Yeah. So this is going to be the women's mile, and I'd love to tell you this is going to be suspenseful, but unfortunately there is a distance runner from sophomore Allison Kuzma out of Zeeland East that is the class of the field here, and you can see right from the get-go she's leaving no doubt and is in a different gear altogether. And I expect she'll just hold that pace all the way through. Ironically, her entry time for the 2 mile, she's about a minute and a half up in front of the field for the 2 mile relative to the girls. She would be ranked number 11 in the boys meet for a 2 mile.
Out of the schools that we're seeing here, Eric, potentially, let's look at the boys. How many state qualifiers do you see on this boys from the variety? I don't need names, but 5, 6. I mean, obviously the kid from Holland, I would think, will be a state qualifier.
Levi will be, I think Zeeland will probably have state qualifiers in at least 2. in every field event.
Really?
Yeah, they're that good.
Okay. Okay.
Their main thrower out of Zealand, Aiden Taylor, is actually ranked 4th overall in shot and 9th overall in discus, and he's got some good teammates behind him. The challenge on that team is being in the top 2 on your own team, let alone getting through the regional. And so track and field does do a nice thing that coming out of a region, if you don't take, in order to advance to the state meet, you have to take 1st or 2nd in your region.
Oh, okay.
And so you could potentially have 3 fantastic milers in a region. And I'll give you one of my favorite track and field stories. I never ran a state track meet. I was a conference champion in college, but never went to a state
Where'd you go
final.
to college?
Grand Valley.
Okay.
And the reason is, if you look up the 1996 Olympic team, there was a gentleman by the name of Paul McMullen out of Cadillac. And out of East Kentwood, a kid named Brian Hyde. Paul was one of our top 3 Olympic milers, and Brian was an alternate. Both my graduating class of 91, both in my regional. Now, that didn't mean I still didn't have a path to qualify for the state meet. You had to run a qualifying time on that day.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Joe.
And so they do have qualifying standards for those exceptions that you have 2 Olympic athletes in your region.
Wow.
But we got a rainy day. You have to run it on that day. That'd be one thing I'd like to see the high school track and field change a little bit, is if you run a state qualification,
similar
you don't
to what
have
they
to
do
do it
with
on
swimming.
the day.
Right.
Yeah, you could do it any time during the season because you get a really hot day or a
Anybody
rainy
from
day.
Shores that you see that could potentially make it to state?
Well, Annabeth's going to make it in 2, probably 3 events.
In 3 events, okay.
Roberson, I think, has a good chance, especially if he keeps running hundreds like that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I think he has a chance probably in the long jump.
In the long jump? Okay.
There could be a few surprises there. I haven't candidly looked at the regional, so I don't know. Like, I don't think Zealand East and West are in our region.
Yeah.
For some reason, the regions are a little bit
well,
different.
maybe based on
They're
size.
smaller, right? They're
Yeah,
D2.
based on enrollment, I would think,
It's nice having Todd Conrad. Set me straight, right? So.
Hey, Mark Konechny stopped by my house a couple days ago. He was, we were talking some baseball team now, currently ranked 4th in the state, and Mark Konechny Jr. Is 2nd in the state in runs batted in.
Is that right?
Yeah, and
he's got a lot of good hitters in front of him.
Well,
he's
got
right?
we had Walt Galkowski with us up in the booth during the doubleheader there at the Lake Michigan Credit Union where the Whitecaps play, and Walt complimented the job that the coaching staff done. He never had a team as talented and as deep as this group of kids is right now. And that spoke volume for the guys that took over the program and the off-season work that the coaches did with the kids. And
their pitching has looked and hitting has looked fantastic.
Yeah, right.
I don't follow baseball as much, but do from afar. And you obviously have Aaron Piasaki, who I know has some arm problems, so they moved him to second base. He's a natural shortstop, but he's been incredible. So interesting thing you don't usually see in the mile is people lapping.
Right.
So we've already got one athlete lapped from Allison Kuzma, and I would not be surprised if she doesn't pick up 3 or 4 more, and that does not happen in the mile.
That's her coming into corner 3, right?
Yeah, and she's still got a lap to go. I suspect in the 2 mile there is a legitimate chance she could lap the field.
Really, the field?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, she's a minute and a half above everybody else. Now, she's only a sophomore.
What a bright future she has.
Sometimes with girls you find that your state champions are going to be in the distances freshmen, sophomores, and then they don't tend to hold up sometimes as they get older.
Because they find out it's a lot more work and it's not as exciting, maybe.
I think there's a lot of physiological changes that happen for girls between their sophomore, where the strength helps the boys a lot. Sometimes that hurts the girls, and typically you might see a girl like that pick up an injury that's difficult to overcome. So pretty good battle here coming down the street.
Yeah,
she's done. I think she just finished.
Oh, did Allie finish?
Yeah, because each girl's just finished right here.
That was a good battle for second, third there.
Well, now, is this a Shores runner in 5th place or 6th place right
2
here?
Of them,
yeah, 2 of them.
Shores girls.
Very good.
Good strong runs out of them.
Great runs out of them.
So Robin.
Well, they get points. They get points, right?
Cecilia Conrad, is that one of yours? Cecilia Conrad? She doesn't claim you? I wouldn't either.
But Todd claims her, though, on taxes. So,
Yeah,
right. Taxes, she's a great exemption for Todd. But other than that, well, he probably gives back a lot of the money in other ways. Yeah.
So, yeah, that one was kind of as billed, so we'll have to wait for the few of the runners that have been lapped to finish here. It'll give, again, a little bit of a gap that I'm sure those boys that are doubling
I think
up.
this is the second year on this track. I think they redid it 2 years ago. And
I thought they had redone it.
Yeah, right.
How long ago did you redo this surface?
A couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is the second year, and it looks great. And look at how nice it's going to look, too, with artificial turf and all this stuff, and groundbreaking coming up on Monday. Do you realize, now, here's a little tidbit that I saw. This is the only Friday the 13th of the year. There will be no other Fridays the 13th for the rest of the year. I'm just...
Did not know that.
Well, Joe, that's what I bring to Sailor Nation Sports.
Well,
Just
it's good to know that we have somebody on staff that has completely useless information to be able to share with everybody. So
Mile races, DK?
We have.
Thank you, sir.
Where are we at, boss?
So we just finished the mile. We're going to go...
The 4x100 relay.
Well, it doesn't look like it. Looks like they're setting up the hurdles. So
Yes, we are. So we're way down right here, intermediate, boys
they're
300.
running a little bit out of order here.
So it sounds like there was one missed in the 100 girls. So they're going to run one heat for her.
So
encourage the crowd to be really participatory here, yeah?
So remember when we said we had a scratch in the 100-meter girls hurdles? It looks like one of the girls was she was more likely than not doing a field event and got missed because they're going to let her run, and it's one of those.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Actually,
Interestingly enough, too, running like that, depending on how she runs, she could take a top place.
she could absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
go 100%
that's right.
on pine. Now it is extremely difficult to do this on your own. I can't imagine how intimidating it would be in front of a fairly good crowd here tonight to run all by yourself.
Yeah. Well, not only in the stands, but you got everybody out there going to be watching you, too. It's like a double whammy looking at you. And there's a nice little crowd out here today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's
for
a good
sure.
crowd. Good crowd for sure.
I've actually only seen this once before, and it was when I was in high school. We had a runner by the name of Jay Morgan, blast from the past. Jay ran a 10-300, and Otto Borgeson picked us up late to go to the Central Michigan meet. There was only 8 of us going. It was a pretty...
Was it an invitational type thing?
It was an invitational thing, but it was for some of the top athletes in the state. Central Michigan was recruiting Jay. He missed the semifinal, but the Central Michigan coach made an exception and ran him by himself on the backstretch to get a time to get him into the final so he could see him. And so sometimes coaches can have their own agendas as well.
Well, you know how you're bringing, now watch your little stutter steps
She's
every
4
now
and
and then.
5 steps.
Yeah,
she's,
right.
She's taking that right leg over. Oh,
Yeah.
there she doubled it. But yeah.
Well, good for her
Good
for
for her
doing
for
it.
finishing,
Congrats to her for, having the opportunity to do that in front of this.
And kudos to the meet director for letting that happen.
Yes.
A lot of times they would not let them run.
It's at their discretion.
Yeah. Depending on what the excuse was for missing.
This is the first pop I drank, and God, I don't even know. It's probably 20, 30 years. No sugar, no calories, because I'm so thirsty.
Yeah, so we're going next to the 4x1. So if you want how important exchanges are, it's probably this is the event that exchanges are the most important.
Exactly. Well, it's a true speed event right here, too.
And I really want my runner receiving the baton to be up to full speed rather than to see it clean. And this one,
like a step away from the end of the exchange zone, hand out, stick, and
Yeah, I mean, you can play some games. Let's say you're Holland and you have Levi running in this event, and I don't know whether he is or not. But you may have him run a little deeper into the zone because he's that much faster than the kid he's handing off to, right?
Yep.
Or if he's the anchor, you want him to receive that baton right at the beginning of the exchange zone. So
because he'll be able to turn on his own burners and go.
Correct. And so that I think that exchange zone is 10 meters long, and so they have to turn that. They have to receive the baton within 10 meters. And if you're before the line or after, it's an instant disqualification. So at every one of these exchange zones, you will see typically a flag.
Yep,
that
with
will,
the flag.
will say whether it's a clean exchange or not.
Right.
And
it's a two-sided flag. They used to be a two-sided flag, either green or something back in the day.
Yeah, I think now white is clean and yellow might be a disqualification.
Oh, is that what it is? Okay.
That's right. So they will waive it after all gone through to let you know that it was a clean
All right,
corner.
so who are we going to have? Is that McNiff out there?
We've got McNiff listed for this. Again, we list 5. So McNiff, Roberson, Vinton, and Lewis.
Okay, so there's McNiff right
McNiff's
there.
definitely starting.
Yeah, gosh, his start in the last hurdle was incredible. I mean, he was off like a cannon.
Yeah, I don't see our third runner. Oh, I wouldn't because they're all on the track. So, so Vinton is going to take the second leg. I believe that's Antonio Lewis third, and then Biddy's got to be.
Yeah, Biddy will be last
Biddy's
for
going
us.
to be anchoring.
So. I knew that you were going to be an asset for this track, Eric, but I had no idea that you were going to come in with this much information. I'll tell you
well, not only that, but he brought binoculars with him, too.
Well, how do you call a track meet without binoculars?
That's why we have him, right?
That's right.
We bring people in that know things, okay?
Yeah, well, it's not. Listen, I don't have any kids that are running track. Nathan throws shot, but somehow I have a kid. All the sports they do, none of them were runners. Gracie was a really good shot.
How many kids you got?
Just Grace and Nathan. So Grace is a freshman. Nathan's a junior.
Good. Yeah. Oh, Nate's a good kid.
So.
How did you not end up with a runner?
I have no idea. Well, Gracie's a really good track athlete, but has
wife's
other
genes.
interests.
The wife's genes.
She takes after mom from a volleyball standpoint for sure.
Oh,
So mom
you
played
go.
volleyball at Muskegon Community College.
Oh, did she? Good for her.
Gracie says you sweat a lot less in volleyball. So
air conditioning.
Yeah, and it is nice as a parent. No, I haven't had to sit in any freezing rain. Oh, I did go watch Nathan at Hausman Field throw. It was cold that day.
Oh, I remember those days. My son Alexander, Angelina, Ariana. Yeah, those are good days, though. Those are fun days.
My daughter had to be there at that union meet to take pictures for your book.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
Yeah.
That was some of the most brutal track weather you could possibly.
Now, it seems to be that, you got the 2 Zeeland teams, you've got Muskegon, you got Shores, you throw Puffer in on a couple, but nothing out of Union, nothing out of Wyoming so far.
A little bit out of Holland. But
you got the one kid out of Holland.
But a disappointment in that, right?
Yeah,
He was
exactly.
Clearly the favorite coming in. That's why you run the races, right?
Well, it's exactly why you race it. But, to allude to what you said, though, it's really going to come down to 2 teams, East or West.
Yeah, that's correct.
I mean, they're the most balanced from field events to track events. They've got the whole gambit around, and they're deep in all events.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, they don't have any holes for sure.
No, they don't.
I really like the way the Shores kids are running today.
I do too.
From what I've seen, I think that they're right in the mix to potentially win this thing. Now, on paper, Zeeland West is pretty strong, but if Ryan can get off to the start he had, and we get clean exchanges, we are right in this race.
When I was
watch Muskegon as well.
When my partner and I were coaching that, we always taught the kids on the bend, run on the inside part of your lane
That's
too,
right.
not the outside part.
Don't give anything in this.
Don't
race.
give anything away. Run the inside
let's
part of
watch
your
these
lane. Are you listening to what I'm
exchanges
See,
here.
these are little coaching tips, Joe. You should
Clean
be
exchange.
Great exchange.
Great exchange for Jalen there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow, look at Holland.
Running really strong. Muskegon.
Yeah,
running
look at
really
Muskegon.
strong.
Is that Piggy, maybe?
Yeah, that's that's Piggy.
Piggy. Look at Muskegon. Got shot out of a cannon right there, boy.
Their actually anchor is CJ Ivy, formerly from Mona Shores. Looks like Lewis is running strong.
Nice handoff on
They
Muskegon.
were up to speed there.
Yep.
Oh, Wyoming, a bit of
Look
a surprise.
at Wyoming. God, and we were
Look at
just
Biddy,
talking
look at
about. Look at Biggie to come out. Long strides right here. Maybe Now just going to come up short. So
maybe.
Yeah,
The
maybe
kid from
third
Wyoming
or
let up a
fourth.
little bit
Yeah.
there, definitely third or
Well,
fourth.
Boy, Biddy
Let's take a
picked
look
it
at
up
that,
then,
Joe.
but I'll tell you, Muskegon looked strong coming out there. You had Holland down the back stretch, and then
Yeah, that's a bit of a surprise. Muskegon kind of handed that to Zeke.
yeah.
Wow.
We're going to go to the Lake Michigan Insurance Incident Replay here, and obviously Muskegon pulled away with that. But on this finish line look, we're going to see, I still think it was Wyoming that ended up with third place.
He did pull up right at the end.
So you have
1, 2.
Yeah.
Yep. It was just
So,
Wyoming by
yep.
about a step and
Strong
a
run
half.
by
it
Biddy.
was a great
Yeah.
finish, though. Great finish.
So the girls are up right now. Another speed event, which will be fun to watch. 4x100.
4x1 for the girl. One of my favorite athletes at Mona Shores to watch on the track. Well, two of them, Annabeth Hillen, but Kalia Cook. Kalia, phenomenal sophomore basketball player, started
Okay.
on the basketball team. One of the few underclassmen that did start
Yeah,
this year.
right. Was she the sophomore?
She was,
Yep.
and
Yeah, she was good.
She might be as good of a kid as she is an athlete. She, I watched her try out for the first time for JV volleyball. Made the team with my daughter.
Oh,
Did
great.
not play much and never complained. Was always the cheerleader on the sidelines, and she's just a really
Well, that's
fun
the
kid to watch.
those are the kind of athletes you want. I knew it. Not only talent-wise, but they're going to support. They're not going to. Hey, it's about me. It's about me.
Well, and I think Kalia will have opportunities in the future to play collegiate basketball, and she's doing this just for fun. And kudos to
Colleges
her,
like
'cause it's hard,
multi-sport
right?
athletes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but colleges like multi-sport.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
you take Cameron Martinez at Muskegon. He wasn't a basketball player at all, but
No,
his
right.
stepfather was coaching. Colleges like multi-sport. He didn't get a lot of playing time at Muskegon.
Nope.
He was out there having fun, being with his buds, and enjoying it.
So it looks like Annabeth's going to be anchoring this. So the four Mona Shores girls are Lily Jones, Jayla Scott, Kalia Cook, and Annabeth Hillen. I can tell you that Kalia and Annabeth are going to be third and fourth legs. Todd, can you tell me who's down there for Shores? Can't see them now because they're hidden. So I don't know who the lead up first for us. Yeah. Okay, if it's the way it's written down, and coaches can sometimes change the order. It looks like Lily Jones is going to lead off for us and hand off to Jayla Scott. And I have to assume that's the way it is because Kalia and Annabeth are written down there too.
Cohen doing an excellent job with the camera work, getting all of these great shots live and for the instant replays. Thank you very much, Cohen, doing a heck of a job.
We are very much in the mix for this one. So as dominant as East and West is, Shores is right in the mix for this.
And we were talking about the temperature, everything. The wind has died down, but it's still 87 degrees outside at the airport. And we're just a stone's throw from the airport.
Yeah. So guns up here, or I should say, these having to take their spots. This race is as much obviously about the handoffs again.
Oh yeah.
If they're clean, that's going to make the difference.
Well, that's the key about a relay. It really comes down to your exchange. If you have a good, clean exchange, you're going to do well. If it's if they have to slow up, if they have to wait, and so it's brutal.
New Zealand East is way out there. They've already made up the stagger on all four lanes.
Yeah,
First away.
Is that East and West over there now?
Looks like Reese Puffer.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
It could be.
Holland running see, bad handoff in lane.
Yeah, horrible.
Oh, and Mona Shores Clea had to look back.
Yeah,
and that just
right.
killed
And
all
see,
of her momentum.
right, all the momentum stops right there when you have to look back, and you yell stick.
Yeah. Now we're going to see what Annabeth's calling. So your conference champion anchoring for you, which is exactly what you want, and she is making up a ton of ground.
Look at her go.
She could get into third place here. Look at her gaining on the Muskegon girl. Maybe second place is in line.
Maybe, come on. Oh, I don't know. It's going to be cool. Now, this is a replay for us, Joseph.
Yeah.
Yes, it is, but I do believe it's going to be third place looking at what we're looking at.
Very
for
strong,
us?
Yes,
very
correct.
strong run by Annabelle.
So we're going to look here. First is the above shot from the Crow's Nest, and Annabelle was just trucking.
Cohen doing a great job from the Crow's Nest.
Can't tell very well from that, but you're going to see that Annabelle
Look at
comes in
this.
third place.
There's first.
She is just about to make it up.
That exchange between second and third was the difference.
Yep,
Between
so we got
place
third.
and that. Yeah.
But that was a huge makeup considering that handoff on corner 3.
Right,
If we get a better third exchange there, or I guess it would have been second exchange, that would have been the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Annabeth sacrificed a little bit there because she really could have run 4 individual events there. So that's one where she just wanted some of her teammates to get points, and kudos to her for sacrificing.
Who makes the final call in a situation? Is it a coach saying, do you leave it up to the, hey, I really need your help in this, hey, this is what we're looking at? How does that play out?
Yeah, I think some of it has to do with what your ambitions are in the future. So believe it or not, some of the athletes here tonight are just using this as a training meet. They've continued to run hard through this week. They haven't really begun their taper. When you've got the distance runner from Zealand, for instance, she hasn't even started to slow down her training because the state meet's still 3 or 4 weeks away. She's going to start her taper in 2 weeks. So depending on where they're going to have Annabeth run at regionals, we'll play into that. Odds are she probably is not going to run the open 400 at regionals, so the coach is just looking to polish up that relay team a little bit. And
so using it as like a practice scenario type thing to build up to it.
I think it was probably a joint decision between athlete and coach. And, and knowing Annabeth, she's going to want to be on some team somewhere rather than being an individual, right?
Yeah.
She's going to want to help her teammates.
And realistically, I don't know how to spin it then. Is there much of a chance of Shores winning the girls?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Right. So let's work on some skills that are going to get you farther into the state meet, I would think.
That's right.
Yep. Okay.
So we're looking at the boys 400 meter here. Again, Zealand East, Zealand West in almost every location here. Based on qualifying. We're going to run heats of the 400, so we really won't know, but the fastest qualifiers will run in this first heat.
Okay.
So there are heats on this one, huh?
Yeah, it's tough to run 400-meter semis. It gets to be too much on some of the athletes.
Oh, yeah,
that
sure.
Are gonna come back and run mile relay.
Is the kid from Holland in this?
No.
Okay.
Look, he is going to run the probably anchor the 4x4 for his team.
I gotcha. Is he a long jumper then, I take it as well?
Yeah, he's the number 1 ranked long jumper in the state.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought you had said.
Are the long jumper results in, are they, for the boys?
I believe they were. Let's go check and see real quick.
No, boys long jump still going.
Not yet.
Looks like Reese Puffer here.
Nope, that's Zealand.
Is that Zealand right there?
It's tough. The Reese Puffer's in solid green, and then
Zealand, okay, I got you.
West
Thank you.
Is the white with the green trim.
Mm-hmm.
So for the men's 400, kind of your threshold, if you were talking earlier about who's going to qualify for state, probably nobody in our conference is going to qualify for the state meet. Kind of your threshold for times is 49, 50 seconds, mid-50s.
Yeah, right.
The fastest qualifier we had tonight was 52.79.
Yeah,
so
it's 3 seconds behind, 3 to 4 seconds. Yeah,
right.
Right.
So now it gets even harder for us to predict because now we're into some of the later heats and
correct.
This is where you'll see probably half the field stand up versus using a starting block on this race. Using a starting block here.
Ready to do the next one, or do you want to wait?
How many people we got watching? Anybody watching here today? We got a few.
Looks like we got the finals in. Oh no, hers isn't in there yet. Still is.
We've had a handful of people watching.
Good. That's okay.
Hey Todd, we know
know if the finals are in for hurdles, girls hurdles, 100? They're in. That should be good, he said. You want to wait now? We'll wait.
7:05, and we're moving along here at Sailor Stadium.
We've had half a dozen people watching it, pretty much.
That's
around
okay.
the corner.
Yeah. No,
I think
that's
some
our
people are
first time.
signing in and looking at a particular race. And
Sure, right.
A
yeah.
lot of them will know the rough time, or a family member will
yeah,
say, Johnny's running next. So
Order of events, and they're saying, okay, I'm going to tune in for this.
at a minimum, you're showing the love to all the sports this year, right? Yeah.
Well, we're trying to do our best, yeah, absolutely, and we're gonna, each year we try to get, bigger, a little bit better, and get the things here. And this year, what we try to do is try to get as many conferencing, so more, area people can watch it as well.
So remember earlier we were saying that Allie Delos had it down.
Muskegon.
Yeah.
So again, this is the second set of groups. Looks like we have a Shores runner in here. Let me give him a little credit. I believe that is. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the women's.
Eric. Okay, so there's multiple heats in this. Realistically,
That was Victor Wu from
how many kids from the lower heats will possibly make it in a
very, very limited.
That's
very,
right, and that's why they're in the second and third.
In a conference meet, potentially in a regional or a state meet, because the competition is so close.
Sure.
But very, very rarely are you going to score out of it.
Yeah, which makes sense.
So,
yeah.
I just saw Allie Delos down there. She's got a real heavy ice pack on her. Looks like on her hamstring. So I believe that was one of the reasons that we saw her down in the rest. And it looks like she's throwing her warm-ups on, so she may be done for the night.
Yeah, she may be done for the night.
And I would shut her down if she has any injury, because potentially you can get her healthy for regionals.
Well, there's bigger fish to fry down the road than this right here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool to be able to share these results right up on the screen.
So Biddy was 0.6 of a second behind. Wow. 0.06 of a second.
600s, yeah, that's a close race.
Yeah, 600.
Where was that, Levi?
Levi was not. This is 100 meter.
Yeah,
he was fourth.
Yeah, 11.36.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah. So looks like another heat of the men's 400. Yeah, this looks like it's the last heat there's open.
That goes to a 10. Thank you, Amy. Yes, as long as they're not running. Thank you, Amy. Your help. Appreciate it.
Let's see, Joe. What was the winning time for the boys 100?
I'll give that to you in just a second. We're showing the women's 100 up on the board right now.
All right.
Second place.
Wow. That's Anna best by 0.3 this year. Her previous time coming in was 12.84, so that's a fantastic run for her.
Is this Holland? Way out
Looks
in
like
front of this
Holland
heat.
coming soon. Yeah, this is the third heat of the boys 400.
All right, let's go take one more look at that 100-meter men's.
Yeah, I just want to
winning time was 10.98.
Okay, so Biddy there, he ran 0.3 faster than he had all year as well. That's a fantastic run, and that was all in his start. He was shot out of the game.
Oh, yeah, it sure was. But, you look at it, meets like this, where the best are around, bring out the best as well.
Well, and I would say, as much as this heat hurts the distance runners, for the sprinters, they love it.
Oh, they love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Less injuries, they're warm all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go to the girls 100 now. Or, I'm sorry, girls 400 meter. So this one, Zealand West ranked 1, 2, and 3. coming into this with the Zeeland East in
Yes,
there
yep.
in fourth, but actually you could potentially see Zeeland West going 1 through 4.
Yeah, you could.
Looks like the girls' uniforms for Zeeland West is the opposite of the boys, where it's green with white trim. So.
Right.
And Reese Puffer, same thing, opposite. I think Reese Puffer's there in lane 2.
Apparently not. It's a warm day. They're off.
You
This
know,
is
one
the girls
thing,
400, correct?
girls 400, yeah, and they are off.
Is this
Again, same lane the whole way around.
is this multi-heat as well, or no?
Yeah, they'll run heats of this 400 as well. So, girl in lane 2 looks really strong. 2 and 3 look strong. 4 is out there again. It looks like 4 Zeeland West runners are out there.
This is the first heat?
This will be the first heat, but it'll be the fastest qualifier. So your champion's going to come out of here, barring some.
Pretty much your champion's going to be wearing green, too, somewhere.
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of different colors in there, do
A
you?
little bit of purple and a little bit of east in there.
Yeah, that's about it.
There's a Reese Puffer girl in there that's in the mix, though, right there in lane 2.
Yeah.
I believe that's Grace Lockhart.
Yeah, but the first 4 girls are in green.
Yeah, but that girl, yes, absolutely in green. And Grace Lockhart looks like she's going to break up that
right
Zeeland West sweep there. So great run for her. You know, I'm really kind of surprised at some of these performances tonight. There, some people really stepping it up, and you can tell they're kind of getting into form, and you know,
Well, peaking at the time where you want them to start getting right up there.
And I will say, some runners run better in cold weather, and some run better in warmer weather, and so
it's rare that you find that the track athlete that's good in both warm and cold, but that's really what you search for being in Michigan.
Yeah. And as these events get a little bit longer, the distance runners, 800 meter and up, they want cold weather with no wind.
You know what would be neat to do if we could, get the start and the time on there somehow. And I don't know how that can happen, but that would be a neat little, to get like a split screen on our new scoreboard that shows what event and the time of that individual event.
I'm sure it can be done.
Okay.
Listen, the scoreboard is not my. That's Todd's problem, not mine. I got enough electronics to worry about.
And you didn't bring me to run the computer, so. So in the men's side of this event, we do have a pretty close race between Zeeland East and Zeeland West. I mean, they're only
Does
separated.
that surprise
no,
you?
It doesn't. They're only separated. 20 points, but. There are some things in the relays that can happen. Mona Shores and Muskegon are tied at 31 for third place right now. On the girls' side, Zeeland East is kind of running away with it, but Shores girls having a real respectable third place right now.
Oh yeah,
compared to those two powerhouses.
And Muskegon closer than I thought. Yeah. Tied with.
So
everybody's paced about exactly the same on this heat.
Yeah. And I will tell you one thing I have noticed, and kudos to the Shores runners, I have noticed a lot of the Mona Shores athletes holding starting blocks for kids that aren't even going to their school. I don't know who the last couple were on the last race, but they were holding blocks, and it was for a girl from Holland and a girl from Zeeland.
Good sportsmanship there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great sportsmanship.
Yeah, they don't certainly have to do that.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, these can be a little anticlimactic when you get into these lower heats, and I would love to give these athletes their due, but it's just too difficult to not knowing any of them. It's too tough for me to comment.
You know, even though it being a running event, you still have that heat you could win, and
Absolutely.
you have that to take away.
No, this is all pride here, right?
So, yes, that's exactly what
some
it
of the
is.
best running right there.
Yeah.
It's pride and possibly going for, your old PR.
Absolutely.
I did this. I'm going to try to get better, at the conference meet. Well, our season's starting to wind down too here, brother.
Yeah, we've only got a few more broadcasts.
We got a few more things to go, and was this year 5?
This is year 5. We're finishing. Yep.
We've been together for 5. Oh dear God, 5 years we've been together, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah, we're kind of like wine.
I'm 40 years older on that 5 years.
Yeah, Joe, I'm 61 now, and that 5 years is okay there, big boy. W.
So I think we have, I think the last Shores runner that just came through was Katrina Amhery.
Okay.
Looks like we've got Samantha Hill and Ashley Davis running this one out in 6 and 7. Potentially another Shores runner in 1. That might be Catriona, actually.
Okay, so this is...
Yeah, that was Lucy Thayer was who we saw in the last team.
What event are we on?
We're on the women's 400 meter. Next up will be the 300 meter hurdles, which is just a brutal gut race.
Yeah.
So when do they run the finals on this one? How long do they give them?
They won't do that. So that those whoever has the fastest time of
in those
heats.
heats.
That's correct.
Yeah. Okay. There is no final then.
No,
okay.
and that's why it's really important to be ranked top 8 coming into the conference championship, because you're going to get into which is essentially the fastest heat.
Right.
Now, you could have a runner out of heat 2 break up the top 6. Right.
Your top runner in heat 2 has a chance to slip into that top echelon group right there. Most likely, yeah, that's probably the only person. But your first heat's also going to get your points for you too.
Your champions most likely.
Right, exactly. They're going to come out to that first game, because that's why you've earned that spot. Now make the most out of it for your team and your program.
Yeah. Me too. Looks like we do have a scratch in lane 4. So.
You look at this year overall from the spring and the spring sports winding down, the winter sports and the fall sport. It's really been, Joe, a banner year for Mona Shores once again.
Yeah.
All the way around.
Yeah, it's really the strength of the athletic skill school-wide really has just blossomed over the last 10 years.
Right, yeah, you're just not known as a hockey school or a track school or a baseball. You're a well-rounded school that offers a lot of diverse sports, and you're successful at them.
I go back to 91, 92, 93 when we were in there. There were sprinkled in athletes here and there, but from an entirety, from a state recognized level, I think it's just exploded over the last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Within literally every sport, there's been such an improvement.
Well, yeah, look at it. You guys are never home. You're on the road all the time. Todd Conrad, when his son was playing hockey, he was all over the state, these AAUs, these traveling. My kids didn't do it. They didn't have it back then.
Yeah, it makes
if they did, it wasn't.
It makes it difficult for the multi-sport athlete.
It's very tough, but it also increases your likelihood of being very successful as well, because you're around it all the time against, elite athletes as well.
Yeah.
No, girls go down to 30.
Well, so when you talk about the coaches and the programs they're putting together at Mona Shores, I know Coach Phillips from the girls basketball program. We already have the summer schedule out for my daughter, and same thing for volleyball. Yeah. The schedule is out, and
football. We've got your son's got his football. You got Perfect 13 going right now.
Listen, football. From at the beginning of March Coach Koziak has that meeting. So
right.
What's that mean? That's not me. Oh, that's you. The programs at Mona Shores are really, I talked to some of our friends that Gracie plays with or at other schools, and a lot of times there's a lot of unknown. There's a couple of schools, they don't even know who their volleyball coach is going to be, and tryouts are 6 months.
A good friend of mine who works with me up in Holton, Alex Smith, he's a D coordinator at Puffer. They're following very similar format to what we're doing. They've got, they got almost like a Perfect 13 going on at Puffer. They got this going, and you got to do those things in order to be successful now.
Yeah. That's for sure. And I will say it is the success of all of those other ones that do sometimes impact a sport like track and field. So when you look at Mona Shores, you look at the girls soccer team, which is one of the premier soccer programs in Western Michigan. You know how many distance runners would be on this track team if girls soccer was not popular? Really? Yeah, I mean, those girls will run 2 or 3 miles in a match.
Yeah, right,
and
exactly. Yeah, great point, Eric. Great point, yeah.
And I will say the addition of girls lacrosse this year.
Well, right.
They're
just
taking
the athletes on lacrosse, and that program started from the bottom, and they're working their way under.
Coach Esquez is doing a great job of recruiting athletes there. I actually thought for a period of time my daughter was going to be on that team, but she decided to not try another sport, which maybe our pocketbook is grateful for, because
I'm sure it is
to keep doing all of these. But boys lacrosse as well. When I was in high school, there was no lacrosse really. So
listen, when I was in high school, our weight room was a 10-by-10 room with a universal gym. Thing, and we just did circuits. We didn't have free weights. We didn't do this. We showed up the 1st of August for double practices, and 2 weeks of conditioning, 2 weeks of two-a-days, and then we started. We didn't have playoffs back then. Playoffs started the year after I graduated in '75. Fall of '75.
I was 1 year old.
Who was 1 year old?
I was 1 year old.
Your coach used to cut logs down and throw them out in the field, and that's what you lifted to get strong?
We ran on a cinder track. We did steps after every practice on Hackley Stadium. Up, down, up, down, rest, and back. Every practice. You were 1 year old in '75?
Yeah.
And you were?
Two.
Oh. Wow.
So hopefully when they put Sailor Stadium in, I don't know, there's not a lot of people that know this, but if you look at the field turf that was put in at Hackley Stadium, did you notice that the Block M has an error to it?
Yes.
One of the corners is rounded instead of being
look at that. But there's also a stripe somewhere that screws it up.
Shouldn't be there, correct.
It looks horrible.
Yeah, and you can't replace it once it's done. Or you can, but
you can. But then I asked somebody why is that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this Michael Piggy, freshman from Muskegon, is going to be in the mix here against the
I
New
think
Zealand
that's
Western.
Keep going if you can. We're going to be starting over in there you go.
Yeah.
So
I think that's Dorico Piggy's son, who played for us at Muskegon back when I was there.
So he's having a really good meet. He seems to be coming in ready to go. Good clean over the first hurdle there. And he's got the corner. So, for the 300 hurdles, actually, the inner corners are not what you want, because you've got a bit of a tighter jump on that.
Well, not only that, but you saw him slow up over the first bend right there, right in.
So a bit of a bobble by lane 4. Piggy running strong here, but I think it's just going to come down to the strength of the Zealand runner.
Well, it's going to come down to that, but it's also going to come down to the technique of going over the hurdles.
Yep.
Where Piggy tends to stop a little bit, gather himself up, where the other kids just go over it, just nice and smooth.
Yeah, that kid's got a future to run a 300.
Yeah, I agree with you, Eric.
You can see in that run right there where the heat is starting to take a toll on these athletes.
Yeah, we have some athletes hitting the turf right as soon as that.
Oh, yeah.
So, now, I will say, in my opinion, that this is the hardest race in all of track and field. To run a 300-meter and jump things. The only thing close is I did the steeplechase once in college, and once is all I could take because...
you did steeplechase in college?
Yeah, it's a 3,000 meters, so just less than 2 miles.
Yeah.
And I did it in a track meet kind of as fun as...
Sure.
But the barrier does not move. So... yeah. And the water jump, and that's
I'd probably just want to fall in the water if it was really hot, just refresh myself. Okay, I'm good.
The one time I ran, it was one of those 35-degree days. You didn't want to do
right.
With the water,
You'd freeze if you got wet.
Those people are crazy. You watch them in the Olympics, and they're just effortless. So it's amazing. But so again, same as the 400, and I think this will be the last time we have heats. Everything else should be finals after this. After the girls. Maybe we may end up doing 2 heats of the 100-meter, depending on when we're in that. But so again,
second heat here.
Credit to these kids not getting into the final to go run what I think is the hardest race in all of high school track and field, and just to get out here and grind it and
But see, this is what wisdom comes in, Eric, with you. At this age, you can say it's a grind, it's a hard. Geez, these kids are out here, Jeff. I'm going to run 300 hurdles, and I'm going to be all right.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
very, very strong. Kind of surprised he wasn't in the final.
Little stutter step.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah. He can clean a few things up in the middle.
Well, he's framing everything up right here. Now
he needs to. So
he needs to trust himself more that I can do this and I'm going to get it down. And this is where a coach comes in and films him a little bit and says, hey, look, son.
And I think the way you put it, that was Parker Lindstrom there from Reese Puffer that we're talking about. That would have been one thing where we're framing it is a great example. He shouldn't start framing that hurdle until 2 or 3 steps before, and he was doing it in between, in the middle of every section. So
it's pretty, after basketball season, what we would do at Steele Middle School, we would use the hallways and set up hurdles, measure them up to get to, figure out who's going to be doing our hurdles. We'd set up our high jump in the gym before the season started. We had to buy kids spiked shoes back in the day because they would wear their heavy gym shoes and everybody else. And so we called up Dick Pond. We got a deal. We did fundraising for our programs from the 20 years I did it. And it was a blast, but the kids got to get good stuff because we were running these heavy shoes, dear God, child.
So before the Sailor Center was built, I can't tell you how many laps we used to run inside the school.
Oh, yeah.
For getting ready for spring track.
We did the same, up the stairs, all the way around the second floor, down, come around.
The best ones were the people that could figure out how to run the corners without slamming into the lockers, because obviously that's a pretty shiny surface to be running on. But, now they do have an upstairs track, so I do believe we have Mason Corson from Mona Shores out there in lane 6. It looks like.
What event?
A couple of shores. This is still the 300 hurdles.
300 IMs, okay.
So I believe Mason Corson and Connor Alexander, 2 10th graders actually.
Got 4 events left after this,
Yeah, like I said, it goes, unlike invitationals that you come to watch, you get those preliminary events out of the way before the meet really starts, and you get right into the finals. It goes pretty quick.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
This is our first track meet, but I think what we should do is focus on this. Now, do they move? I would imagine they move the conference finals around.
They do. We may get, and the city meet typically.
It's like Sailor's runner is going to win this heat.
Yeah, absolutely. One last hurdle.
When is the city meet?
So that was last Friday.
Oh, okay.
And I think Orchard View gets that a lot because candidly, they have one of the best track surfaces in the area.
Really?
Yeah, they have a really nice, strong track now.
Aren't all the tracks the same?
No, the surfaces, you can have fast surfaces and slower surfaces.
Really?
I haven't heard anybody telling me if they think Sailor Stadium is fast or not. But,
or slow, yeah.
Yeah.
So once again, we'd like to thank everybody for watching during this track meet, the OK Green Conference Finals track meet, where the best of the best are running in the finals here at Sailor Stadium. I'm Joe Kanukin, Mr. Nick Davros. Guest in with us today, Mr. Eric Allen, and Cohen Holman, who is up on top. I know he's searching desperately for some water, so if anybody wants to bring him some water, I think he's working on getting some of that water here. We're going to get him some water. We ran out of water. Actually, we had quite a bit of it here, and it went fast. It's very warm here today.
So girls 300 here, I expect the runner from Holland to win this, which we haven't heard much of Holland athletes today, but Eva Whiteman, almost a 2-second favorite in this event. So it'll be interesting to watch.
It looks like she's pulling away right now. So
you can kind of tell on this, whoever hits when all those hurdles are equal distance apart. So in this event, whoever jumps it first is in the lead, and boy, she is effortless going over the top of those, isn't she, Joe?
Yep,
she
just
effortless.
Yeah, I mean,
just in stride.
Yeah.
I believe it's It's been a bit since I've been in it, but I believe the better runners, it'll be 19 steps between each hurdle on the 300s.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 19.
Pretty close.
19.
So
Look at
19
you.
right on the money.
See, he's with us all the time. He's with us all the time. 19 steps.
Who said there's not technique to track and field? There's a lot of things behind the scenes that people didn't appreciate for the run.
See, next year when we can do something like this, yeah, we have to wing it to see with all the different, to try to cover all the different stuff. You know, the field and the, it'd be fun to try to cover some field as well. Maybe
Hausman. Hausman's difficult, but Hausman's also a historic track and field.
Well, but Hausman all is in one area. You're not, 5 miles over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everything is there in front of you, which is nice. So maybe like when Union does a conference champion, it would be fun to do it from Hausman. Great press box, easy access for us, and can see everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I believe the runner from Mona Shores is, I think that's Destiny
And I think
Douglas
Puffers is like that too, Eric. Everything is
Puffers
right.
is a really nice stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes those, like Puffer Stadium is almost built in a bowl, so you can mitigate some of the wind in that stadium.
Exactly.
As well, yeah. Hausman is very much like that as well.
And
it was pretty windy at that last
they
track
got
meeting.
and they got a visitor's press box, and right behind the press box is a pole vault and everything. So you could do a lot of stuff like that. Joe, that's just future reference. Me, thinking ahead of the game here.
So I don't know these girls, but I'm going to give you a shout out to Destiny
every one of
Douglas,
them.
Nadia Hill, Ava Morin. Looks like we may have had a scratch. So Skylar Childers was also supposed to be in that heat, but we might have had a scratch out there. It looks like lane 1 was empty, so one of those 4 may not have been. Difficult when you don't.
So it looks like we got one more heat left.
And this could be one. Oh, that's why we had a scratch. This will be Skylar Childers.
Okay.
Just to give the girl from Reese Puffer somebody to run against now.
You know what? We might have a full moon tonight. Colin, if you can, pan up looking at the moon right there, too,
Tomorrow.
buddy.
Tomorrow is the full moon. It is the super blood flower moon. Super blood flower moon.
Look at you.
So I'm going to tell you the girl from Reese Puffer is Brianna Stowski, who is, if you did any volleyball matches, was one of their superstar volleyball players.
We did.
And she would have been the star of the show. She is going on to play collegiate volleyball. I know she committed somewhere. I can't remember the school she's going
good for
to.
her.
Also, if we look up the high jump results, I believe she was one of the top high jumpers in the area. So this is probably just a secondary event.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at that high jump winner.
So, Joe, this is what moon? Some blood moon?
It is the super blood flower full moon.
And you know this because... How?
Because I know it's a full lunar eclipse tomorrow, starting between 9:30 and 2:30 in the morning. 9:30 p.m. 2:30.
Oh, that's probably when you're coming over to help me do some more lava
Right,
rock, aren't
yes,
you?
exactly.
Okay, that boy.
Doesn't look like we have the women's high jump in yet, Joe.
Oh, no, you're right. I was looking at the long jump. So
Yeah. No, not yet. Also not in yet is the boys' long jump. So
it is not, yep.
That's difficult when they get into this. There's so many interruptions now in that long jump. They really tried to have that done before the start of the meet because a lot of your sprinters are going to be running long jumps. So with all the relays and everything, it makes it difficult to finish that.
Well, and geographically having to move so far and everything else, I mean, there's really no way to get away from it.
Okay. This is probably a silly question, but I got to ask it. So you've got a lot of room in this end zone, in the south end zone. You've got room over. Could you not put like a long jump over there? So you're not, God, you've got to walk a country mile to.
Well, the long jump's going to be just behind the visitors stand.
Right, okay, so that's close. So it's shot put and discus.
There is a shot circle down here, but it is, there's too much activity and it's not roped off. But you're right, shot and disc for us is gotta be
they're way over there.
quarter mile away.
Yeah. Well, shot iron, I mean, discus takes a big area. I mean, you just don't have.
So it looks like we're going right into the boys 800 meter.
Could be.
And it looks like it's going to be a field start. So no
heats.
No heats. I'm going to try to start my stopwatch on this one.
So this is a long one, ladies and gentlemen.
2 laps. This is what they call a waterfall start. So they can cut in, even if you're in lane 8, there's just a little curve they're going to set up on, but you can go into the lane 1 immediately. You do not have to wait until getting over to the other side. It can get a little
this would be kind of fun.
A little crowded, but it is a little exciting.
It's almost like watching a horse race where, the outside horse is trying to get him move his way over into where all the others are.
The starter just made a decision.
To heat it?
Oh, yeah.
No, he's not heating it. He's now doing a double water.
Yes, please. Thank you.
He is doing what they call a double waterfall start now, so not to get too technical.
Okay.
So you'll see the runners that are up maybe 20 meters, 15 meters.
Thank you, ladies.
They cannot cut in until they get to through the first corner. So again, called a double waterfall start. These runners on the start-finish line, they can cut in immediately. The runners that are out ahead have to run through that first corner before they can go all the way in.
So
now those 6 that are out there can go all the way into the inside of lane 5. That's their barrier. And then the starter does not like. Yeah, so what he's doing now is he's making sure that the appropriate seated runners are in the right spots here.
And there's officials that's watching that, I take it?
Yeah, so he pulled the wrong group forward, and so what he's probably done is pulled the class of the field to the lane 5 through 8.
So the guys in front are your faster guys.
So
just to get out of the way, I would think,
those
too.
are probably your 6 fastest runners, so they don't get tied up. And then the second waterfall is behind them.
I got you. It's almost like the first heat and the second heat, and the first heat guys are in the front, and the slow guys are back. And then, so that's going to...
I don't know that I would have liked to be, if I was the top seed, I probably would have preferred to be on the inside, because it's going to be a mess when those guys come through off that first corner.
Well, we're going to watch it right now. Colin, kind of zoom in on that a little bit, buddy, if you would.
They are getting out fairly clean, but you can see that second group's going to really hang up that 5th and 6th runner when they come through.
Yep,
so now they're going to cut through.
Yep, and now they're cutting over right there at the second turn. Okay.
It just pushes up, Todd. Yeah. Well, I couldn't see. And I forgot to start my watch again. I was too busy talking about the waterfall.
So they do that just so that they won't get tied up and somebody gets hurt.
Well, what they did is the official really wanted this meet over, so they could have done this in 2 heats, which is probably what they should have done. And if you were that 6th place runner that potentially got caught up, you'd have been really upset. But that is an option, just to get all these athletes on there. And you can see now the class of the field has kind of gone to the front, and again, not a really fast heat. So in boys track and field, kind of you have thresholds at every event. In the 800 meter, it's anything underneath the 2 minute in the half mile. Coming into this, the fastest was Chase Holwerda out of Zeeland West at 2:01. Now they are running a very, very fast backstretch here. So potentially we have somebody go sub 2, and that will be a good boost to them. Boy, the athlete from Reese Puffer seems to be
pulling away.
Clay Grant. That's our mile champion, and Clay is having a fantastic meet. This is definitely a sub 2 minute half mile. I don't know what that first quarter was, but Clay is really, really he's only run 1/800 meter this season. He ran a 2:07, but this is going to be way south of 2 minutes, so really good meet for Clay. Looks like 1600, 800 meter champion. That was Clay, right? So again, coach's kid. Amazing how that works, huh?
Sometimes it pays, right? You pushed all the time.
Just stinks
pushed
for
on
him
the weekend.
when you don't have that kid to rely on next year because he graduated, right? So.
I was just going to say, I thought I recognized him from cross country as well. He's a really good cross country runner as well. So that's the 800 boys. 800 girls next, I presume.
Yeah.
So where are we at in the event total? What do we have left?
So after the 800, we have 3 events left. 200-meter dash, the 2-mile run, which will take quite a while because we'll have both boys and girls heat run separately. And then kind of always the star of any show is going to be the 4x400-meter relay. That's always the last event. Often meets will come down to who wins and doesn't win that.
Sure.
Looks like the men's varsity scores are still fairly close depending on how that long jump finishes up.
Sure.
So our mile champion is entered into this race, Allison Kuzma. She won that pretty handedly, and she's run a 2:24 this year, which is really fast. So I expect her probably to win this, but the rest of the field should be pretty close. Another double waterfall start here. I'm checking to see if they have Kuzma entered in the 3200. They do, Kuzma, so potentially we'll see her as a 3-time champion as well.
Man, the 2-mile run.
Yeah, we were really going to earn our keep, trying to keep people's interest for 14 minutes, 16 minutes on that one.
That's a long ways to run. I don't know if I would like to even try that.
It's actually going to be a pretty nice night. The track's almost all in the shade now, and yeah, I'm willing to bet that Kuzma could be out there running right now. So a little bit, you know, her dominance is not as well known or as well established in this one. Allison Kuzma out of Zeeland East. In the mile, there was no doubt from the first corner who was going to win that race. She looked like she had a whole different gear. I actually don't know that she's in this race. She was scheduled, but she could have been a scratch to say for the 2-mile. There's not a lot of turnaround time between this and the 2-mile run. I'd be surprised if she did both. I don't know of any. I don't ever remember any athlete doing the 1600, 800, and
that would be brutal.
Yeah,
you know,
especially in this kind of heat.
Back in the day when you guys were 1 and 2 years old, as you so eloquently put, you had to wait so many events before you could run. Is that still?
No, I think you can do as much as you want. Mona Shore's runner really strong here first quarter.
Yeah, no, we had to wait 2 or 3, depending on what event it was. You had to wait so much to do it.
So that's CC Conrad in 4th place there.
Now, is that Todd's daughter?
No,
really.
We already checked with him.
Oh, okay. Here, I
remember that was the whole tax break thing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's another senior moment.
She's running extremely strong. I like what she's doing here. Again, I do not. Well, that could be Kuzma.
Joe, are you sure that moon's not full tonight? It looks awfully full right
Trust
now.
me, it'll be full tomorrow.
Okay,
like 15
Joe,
into
whatever
16.
you say.
I'm going to make a bet that Cecilia Conrad's going to take 3rd place here. She is running really strong.
Yeah, running well.
And depending on how those first 2 are battling, New Zealand East runners starting to hear her a little
Who's
bit.
the 4th place girl?
That's Mona Shore's out. Cecilia Conrad.
Oh, okay.
She's running very strong.
Yeah, she sure is.
And I would tell you, she is not the front.
In fact, she's going to pass that girl now.
Yeah, and she's got a bit of a kick. This is a very big surprise. She was ranked 6th coming in, and I can tell you, had she run that first quarter with those front runners, they have not had any separation. She's picking up on 2nd place.
Yeah.
That is a fantastic run out of Cecilia Conrad.
Finish all the way, honey. Come on, all the way. Don't get at a girl.
Great run. That's a
great run for her. Absolutely.
That's
good call, Eric.
So the next Shores runner, we did have 2 in this.
So
field.
that's an 8th place right there, I believe,
Diamond
for her.
Madison.
Yeah, I think that's an 8th place finish for her. So that'll be what, 1 point then?
No, only through 6.
Oh, only through 6. Okay.
That's a great run for Diamond. I got to watch her last year as an 8th grader, and she was she's going to be something to contend with in the future. She's got a really bright future. So really strong run on Cecilia Conrad there.
Yeah, it's a very close to a full moon. Sunday night. Sorry, not tomorrow night. Sunday night into Monday. 15 into 16. I keep thinking today's the 14th for some reason.
It's the 13th show.
Yep. So it is Sunday into Monday is the full moon, and it'll be a full lunar eclipse.
Full lunar eclipse.
It is the super blood flower moon.
So we should get another, my prediction didn't hold real true about Levi from Holland today. He's not really impressed just yet, but this should be, next should be the 200 meter, so it should be his opportunity to kind of revenge that 100 meter loss. If he's running, I might see him down there in sweats. So again, it is kind of a shame that with this event, with track and field, kids can get injured just heading into because they're all going to have city championships and conference championships, and you run a little bit harder than you do when you're double duels.
Sure.
And so it would be a bit of a shame. You talk about the gal from Zeeland East, that the 100 meter runner. We see her walking around with an ice pack on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit of a shame to have a runner like that go down just before the regional meet, but hopefully they can get that wraps and get her healthy again. We will have some Shores runners in this. I see McNiff getting his block set out there in lane 2.
Hey, how did we do in shot put for boys? Are results in?
They sure are. Let's go take a look.
Can I see? I want to see if any of our football players did anything.
Eric Gould, I believe, was our longest throw at 36 feet, I believe. Yeah, so that Aiden Taylor, that won, he was ranked 4th in all of the state of Michigan. But they're
Eric Gould got 16th. Was that it? Chase Thalman, Luke Emmons. Okay. Jeremiah Love. Okay.
These are scratches.
Oh, yeah.
Nathan's on that. My son's on that shot and discus team.
Is he?
I think he didn't throw today, but
okay.
I think they're in it just to have fun and camaraderie and gives them an opportunity to lift. So they
right.
They have ulterior motives, but it is a fun group and they are fun to watch.
Good kids.
Yeah. It can be a bit defeating when you come out right out of the gates and you go and see Zeeland East every week and their kids are throwing 20 feet further the first meet, right?
It's just so frustrating.
It can be a little defeating for some
and you wonder why. Why is that kid so much better than I am and I work just as hard?
Well, I think that they know that they don't work just as hard,
right?
Because the programs at Zeeland East and West, when it comes to the field events, they're
just so established.
Yeah, and those kids I'm sure they're buying in, and where our kids are doing perfect 13s, they're probably in the gyms in the wintertime, throwing indoors into golf nets or baseball nets or whatever. It looks like we have one entry into this race, and it's Ryan McNiff.
What are we on?
This is going to be the men's 200 meter. We will only have finals here. We've already run the preliminaries.
Right.
McNiff actually comes in with the second fastest qualifying time today.
Oh, good for Ryan. Ryan's got some wheels.
Yep.
Ryan's an athlete, I'll tell you. Hasn't put on an ounce of weight, but he's an athlete, I'll tell you.
He keeps running. He's not going to. So.
No, I know.
Blocks are down. We'll be underway.
It's a nice group of seniors. Absolutely love that group. I love all of the kids.
Yeah, so I think I'm correct. I believe something happened with Levi Hunter in that 100 meter. Even though he qualified for this final, I do not see him on the track.
Okay.
And he was the #1 seed coming out of the semis. So
the young man from Holland.
The young man from I'm almost positive that he's got picked up an injury in that 100 meter. The way that
at least
finished.
Enough not to run him.
Yeah, and again, even if it's a minor tweak, I can see him actually underneath the goalpost there. Even if it's a minor tweak, you just shut that kid down and don't worry about the conference championship because he.
There's bigger fish to fry down the road.
The long jump finals in?
Still have not seen anything from the long jump.
Is he a senior too, Eric?
He is a senior.
I wonder
yes.
where he's going for college
Yeah.
anywhere.
No long jump.
Yeah. It looks like he's trying to stretch this hamstrings out, but yeah, he looks like he's going to be a scratch out of this meet.
Where is he?
He's underneath the goalpost here, Nick, on the north end of the field.
Oh, yeah.
In the red jersey.
Yep, I see him.
So you can see him trying to
Jog right there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I would say I'm the same too. If I'm the number 1 seed and not on the track, I would have some nervous energy. But I would hope his coach
Good sized kid.
shut him down.
Yeah.
He should put an ice pack on the jersey. Looks like he's got a wrap on a left calf there.
Yeah, it looks like it right
He
there.
did not have that.
You know what?
No.
I think that's down on his knee, isn't it?
That sleeve all the way down.
Yeah,
No,
it looks
he doesn't have that right leg.
You got the binoculars.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we can see the thing here.
Yeah. Looks like a calf wrap to me.
See him? He's on the right side. He's next to the blue umbrella there.
It's above and below his knee.
But all the way down to his ankle, right?
It's not his ankle.
I don't see it down to his ankle, no.
You're looking at the wrong guy.
You're looking at the wrong guy.
All red. He's got his hands on his hips right next
Oh,
to that
okay.
red
Yep.
umbrella.
There you go, Joe. There you go,
The wrong
Joe.
one. Yep, I got
Now,
it.
where's that fire at? I don't see a fire in that building.
Yeah.
I don't.
No, it's a building next door. Oh, yeah, that's where we should be.
However, it should be mentioned with him out, Ryan McNiff is the number 1 seed coming out of the finals.
I love you, buddy.
This could be a win here,
McNiff
yes.
has a strong chance at this
Yeah.
one, I would say. Destin Piggy out of Muskegon, only
Well.
1/10 of a second behind him.
Yeah.
It was personal best in the semis.
Yeah, it was Ryan McNiff's personal best in the semis.
Well,
yeah.
and again, you know, his start in the one event, that was huge, you know, in the relay.
Yeah. And he's been running strong in all the relays,
Yeah.
so this will be his last.
I think he's going to Alma to play football.
They're
Let's
picking
do
up a
it.
good kid. This could be pretty close with McNiff, Piggy, and CJ Ivy's in there.
Yeah, yeah.
So top 3 are all out of Muskegon. 1 out of Shores and 2 out of Muskegon here with Levi being down. Boy, you come into a meet, you think that what kid's going to dominate, and just right out of the gates, it's kind
And
of
nothing's
his meet's-
happening,
his
and
meet's
nothing.
over, right? And yeah, I see them down there working on him now, and more likely than not, he probably did not long jump unless he got 1 jump in, which was enough to win, and then waved the rest of them. So.
Yeah.
Here's the results of the men's 300 meter hurdle from earlier.
All right, they're taking their positions now.
Where is, oh, there he is.
McNiff's going to be in
Yeah.
lane 2.
Yep. Who's in lane 1 then? Oh, Zealand Westgate.
Yeah, we've got Muskegon, Zealand, West Zealand.
Good start for McNiff.
Oh,
Good.
great start out of Piggy, too. He's
Yeah.
running that corner strong.
God, look at Piggy just go.
McNiff running a really strong
Yeah.
inside corner. That's a tough corner right there.
Yeah.
Come on, Ryan. Whew, he's strong.
Yeah.
Piggy going to run
2 or
away
3.
with this one.
Yep. McNiff will take 4th.
3rd or 4th?
4th.
We'll take a look.
Take a look. It's between him and that lane
That
7.
Piggy would just shot out like a cannon,
Yeah,
too.
He's strong.
And just 1 heat of this or 2?
Nope, that's it.
That's it.
Go
Okay, the
to-
girls next then.
That should
So,
be a relay there, Joe.
yep, we got our replay here. We'll take a look. And
First.
it's hard to
second,
tell.
3rd, 4th.
And we're not right on the line there.
Oh, maybe 3rd.
Yeah, it's going to
We'll
be close.
see.
Here it is.
Can you slow it down, Joe?
Sure can.
Okay.
Piggy first.
First,
certainly.
second.
Oh, I think McNiff.
No,
goes.
McNiff might have taken
Reach of the
3rd.
arm.
Yeah.
Reach of the arm.
Well, it's going to be his chest.
Oh, okay.
So it's
It's
not
still
your
gonna be
hand that
very
goes through.
close.
It's going to be your chest.
Still going to be very close.
They may call you into play here, buddy.
I don't think you don't have a photo. You don't have a camera down there, do you, Todd? For photo finishes? They do. Okay. No.
Oh.
So they may have to on that one. They're probably going to. I don't think that they can call that one by the naked eye. Women's 200 in the blocks here. And Annabeth Hillen, the clear favorite at this point.
Is she?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's going to be out in lane 4. pretty
Look
good
at her
start.
go.
I'd like to see her
Yeah.
get down a little bit longer there, but she's already made up that inside corner.
Yep.
And again,
Oh, it's going to turn into a race over here.
No, she's pulling away.
No, she's pulling away
she's the
now.
last of the
Pulling
field
away.
here,
Boy, look at
so
her strides. Look at her hands.
That's just easy.
That's a machine right there.
Yeah.
So 3-time conference championship, Annabeth. I mean, she's going to be the athlete of the meet for sure.
Yeah.
Conference champion in the 100, the 200, and the long jump. And candidly, it wasn't close in any of them.
No, doesn't sound like it.
And don't forget her anchor leg in the 4x1, where she got the girls from 6th up to third or 4th, right? So one of the better meets I've seen from a high school athlete this year.
Fourth place, Brianna Stowski from Leeds Coffin.
Boy, she was pulling away. Full strength, still. No give whatsoever. That was just that's something to watch.
And an interesting thing to tell you about how great high school track and field is in Muskegon, Annabeth did not win 3 events at the city meet last week. So typically your conference is going to be stronger than city, but we have some really strong, I believe there's a really strong athlete out of Montague that pushed her.
Okay. Hey, Joe, a question for you.
Yes,
a
sir.
tech question.
Yes, sir.
Can we get a drone
Yes.
that films, that kicks into what we do here?
Yes. It just takes money.
Yeah. Can we get a drone, say for instance like a trap meet, and we wanted to get shot in distance, fly a drone over? Oh, you can't. Okay.
Yeah, so Annabeth, I just checked, she was runner-up in the 200 at the city meet. So she won the 100-meter and the long jump, but was runner-up in the 200.
How would we do it? It'd have to be away from the event, say like on the, yeah, just off to the side. It'd have to be off to the side there, like on a practice field. Right, exactly. Okay.
Todd, you're going to get some time here, so back-to-back 2 miles. So not a lot going to come in here in the next, So 2-mile run. If Clay Grant from Reese Puffer is in this, I don't see him. He's trying to do a triple that I've never seen. It does not look like Clay is in this race because he's won the mile and 800 already. See false starts very often in the 2-mile or the 3200, but started running back to the line.
Only get one, correct?
Well, that one's to the field, so they had a lot of movement there. And you know what I think happened? I think he pulled the trigger, but the gun did not go off.
Oh,
so
yeah, because it looks like
he's on the starter there. So the boys were ready, but without the smoke, it's tough to start the timer. Yeah, he's trying to. Oh, to get it started. You got one job to do with the starter.
Okay,
we're gonna try
man.
again here. There it is. Yeah, so with Clay Grant out, I think Caden Meyer from Zealand East is going to be
the go-to guy.
Favorite, yeah. I mean, and actually the runner from Mona Shores, Caleb Branch, is something that's someone to watch. So Caleb could be in contention to win this as well. He's run a sub-10 this year, and that's kind of for the 2-mile. That's one of the thresholds that you look at. When you look at 100-meter kids, you want a kid to run 10.3 or around there. For a 2-mile, if you break 10 minutes, you're in competition for most.
For sure, yeah. I don't see any Wyoming athletes. That's those 2 guys.
Yeah, the 2 in the center here in the
right,
purple.
And that's it, though, but I don't see anybody else.
Yeah, they have a pretty thin team.
A couple more down here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, their program has been up and down lately.
So 8 laps around.
So 8 times around, and Caleb's right exactly where I'd want to be. I have seen that kid out of Holland run, Adrian Castillo. He's a pretty decent runner, but Caleb being smart here, tucking right behind Caden Meyer from Zeeland East. He's in the all black. The 2 kids from Zeeland West, I would not expect them to be there in order to keep with Caleb and Caden. They're going to have to run over 30-second PR. So I think they're a little optimistic right now. But this is where you earn your money trying to call a 2-mile run. Nick is letting me take the mic here.
Well, you gonna? Should we like take a quick break and we'll come back at the lap 7? No, I don't think that.
You have any commercials or sponsors you want to run? I will say that this is an extremely slow start right now. They're going to come across the half mile at probably over 2.5 minutes. So you may see things start to pick up, but that's also a little dangerous for Caden and Caleb to give these guys a little hope. You give them a little shot of adrenaline through the mile, they may decide to run a 30-second PR. Maybe they picked it up a little bit. You can see the Shores.
Well, you almost got it on the money now at 2.5 because it is going to be. That's why you're here.
Yeah, so we right
2.5
minutes at the first half mile.
Yeah.
So far, Eric, what do you think of broadcasting your first?
What do you think there, buddy?
Meet?
Yeah, it's fun. It's a different way. It definitely keeps you engaged.
Sure.
My wife probably likes it. I'm not bothering her the whole event. So.
Well, I can tell you've absolutely. It's like a fish take to water. Fish takes to water.
Oh, you've done a great job. Absolutely.
You're welcome back anytime for our track meets.
Nobody's ever accused me of not talking, so I'm probably the only one that can give Nick a run for his money. Being
wow,
on the
we
mic.
need you to be here then.
Do I really talk that much?
I'll fight with Nick for the mic. I'll tell you, the Zeeland West kids are really running well above their pay grade right now, and we're seeing Zeeland East make a little bit of a move, which as a distance runner, I didn't like what he just did there. You could tuck behind that kid and make that pass on the straightaway. He just had to run a little bit further, and you don't think much of it. But why pass on that corner? He could have tucked and made his move now, but like Caleb's doing. So Caleb's running a very strong.
Every step you save pays dividends down the road. In lap 6, lap 7.
This is going to come down to a kick between Caden and Caleb and from Zeeland, and
so it's really right now a 7-man race, isn't it?
Yeah, and I would say there's some of them that are running well above what they're capable of running.
Oh, okay.
So, I'll be able to tell a little bit more when we finish this next lap. We'll come across the mile as we come across here, but we're gonna start to see the leaders potentially pick up some of these tail end runners, which can help. It can give you something to chase too, and something to look forward to in front of you.
Eric, the guys that are in second, third, and fourth place, is that just a nice comfort for them? They know where they are. They're not expending a lot of energy.
Yeah. So
I mean, what's going through their minds right now? That they're just thinking, when do I want to? How am I feeling? What's this guy doing, etc.
Yeah. So you really can break most of your distance runs up into 4 segments. So the first 800 meters was just a feeling out and positioning. You want to make sure you're not out of it and sitting in 8th place back then. The second 800, which they're just coming across and finishing now, the first mile, you really want to feel fairly smooth. I love what Caleb's doing here. He is just letting those kids drag him along. I'm going to tell you, he's probably really annoyed by that Holland runner being behind him. He'd love to see some separation.
Sure.
He's going to need to make a move here. And you saw what the Zeeland runner did, and that's some experience out of a senior runner there. He made that pass just before the corner, which means that if Caleb's going to stay with him, he's going to have to make it on the corner. So he definitely came in with a plan, and now you can see he's going to run his second mile, probably negative splits.
So the lead guy is starting to get a little separation right here now.
Yeah, and Caleb didn't have anything to answer right now, but maybe he doesn't believe that that's sustainable, because I will say he did take that off as if he was running a 65 or 70 second quarter. I could be wrong here, but Boy, the kid from Zeeland West, Smith, he seems to be running very strong.
Boy, you're not. That's our leader right there, right?
Yeah, well, I'm talking second place.
Oh,
He's really
second,
running
yeah.
above his
Okay.
what he's posted so far. The Holland runner has been a pretty strong runner, running better every meet. So
Our lead runners from.
that's Zeeland East. That's Caden Meyer.
Okay.
And, ironically, 1, 2, 3 is Caden Meyer, Caleb Branch, or Caleb Spith and Caleb Branch. So
triple
can be a little confusing.
Yeah.
So still like what Caleb from Mona Shores is doing here. We're going to come across the mile.
now look at how close that group is right there. Don't you feel a little constricted, like I need to do something, I need to get a little freedom?
Yeah.
I mean, they're getting so tight, this bunch right there.
Yeah, so they just came across their fifth lap at 6.5 minutes, which is still sub 10-minute pace. 2 of them have not run sub 10-minute yet this year. Caden Meyer at 9:44, he's probably getting close to being on pace. Yeah, if I were Caleb from Mona Shores right now, I'd probably want to start to do something this next lap with 2 to go.
So finish this lap right here, and then let's start strategizing what we need to do in order to get, either second place or I'm going to give you a third or a fourth, right?
And
Something's got to happen.
Caden's got a problem coming up out of 5th place right now. One of the Zeeland West runners is moving very, very quickly up to that pack of 4.
I also see the runner out of Holland probably keying off of whatever Caleb is going to do.
That's correct, yes.
And I think that's going to be a tight group for second and third place all the way up to the end of this. I agree with you, Joe.
He's going to need to, if I were Caleb, I'm going to want to start to make my move now. Although he's looking like he's struggling to keep up with that Zeeland West. He's strong, though. His form is good. Yeah, and here's that Holland kid getting a little bit of a slingshot.
So the Holland kid's going to make a move here.
Okay, and you see Caleb countered that. So he covered, and if he really wants that kid from Holland to go around right now, and he got so that's called boxed in. He doesn't have anywhere to go.
He doesn't.
He's going to have to go out to lane 3 to make that move.
And not only that, but he's going to have to slow up a little bit in order to get to lane 3, so he's going to give up even more area.
Right. So Caleb, all right, so now we've got a little bit of space. He cannot afford to get boxed by that next Zeeland runner. And
correct.
The kid from Shores and the Holland runner both need to
go. Now Caleb's making a move right there now. Yeah. He's going on the outside.
Tell he's struggling a little bit, so we've got...
okay, so now he's back into 3rd place.
Yep.
What's our time?
Here comes that other Zeeland West runner right behind Caleb now. He just
they're
going to have 5th.
They're going to have a lap and a half to go here. Or lapping up straightaway. You can see the Zeeland East runner checking his shoulder. I hate that. You've already been there. Why look behind you? Just keep going, right?
Yeah, he lapped a kid right there, right? Yeah.
So he's got runners he needs to just latch on to. Although, again, with a 9:44 time, he can start to think about regionals next week. He's got this in hand. This is going to be quite a race for second place.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good race right here. It's going to be a 3-person here.
Find out who's got the guts here.
So is this lap 8 right now?
This is lap 8.
Yeah. This is it right now.
Yeah, they're all slow.
All right, boys and girls, you want to get your money's worth watching us right now. If you're not, shame on you, because you should be, because this race is coming down to 2nd, 3rd, and 4th places.
I suspect Caleb's got quite a bit left in him. He's quite a bit below his PR right now. So he might have some gas in the tank, but the problem is he let those 2 kids stick around, so they may think that...
All right, there's a move on the outside right there. The other Zeeland, is that a Zeeland kid?
That is Zeeland West.
That's West, yeah.
More likely than not, that's Caleb Smith.
Okay.
Here comes Holland pushing a little bit.
Yeah, so Caleb Branch, we're going to find out how strong he is coming down the final here. Yeah, really slow 2-mile actually for this field. They're all going to be north of 10 minutes. This kid's just shutting it down. He's running 9:44 this year, so some of it could be the heat, but...
all right, here we go. Caleb now.
Great finish.
All right, here comes Caleb.
Oh, boy, he has some speed.
Caleb's going to get past the kid. There he goes.
See, and now as a runner, when he reflects on that tonight, he's going to hate that he had that much to go, right?
Why'd I save so much?
He definitely could have stuck with Caden when he made his move to and potentially been champion there. So I would not, if I were down coaching him, I would have said that probably too much in the tank there. Yeah. Probably could have gone lap 2.
Push himself a little harder, had a little bit more faith in himself that I could stay with.
How much of that is, I mean, that's experience, really knowing yourself. paced over that amount.
It's kind of like
correct?
this kid from Zealand right here doing the
Yeah.
same thing. If you got that much in the tank at the end, why'd you save it?
Yeah, Joe, you're right. I mean, some of it is knowing yourself and how you feel, and I'm sure that these kids are all having a little bit difficult time with
the
these
heat,
conditions and humidity, knowing it's a line, right? Because if you lose it with a lap and a half to go, it can be a miserable lap and a half, and so you can go from second place to last. Because once you've lost your stride and your turnover, it's very, very rare that you're going to get it back and finish with any kind of strength. So, but runner-up finish for Caleb Brandt. So,
Yeah.
from Mona Shores, that's a very, very strong finish. Not even long jump, huh? Is long jump in, Todd?
Just announced the 200 meter men's. Destin Piggy takes that one. Ryan McNiff with a personal record at 23.3 takes third place in the 200 meter.
Dimitri Roberson, conference champion in the long jump.
Yeah, we haven't even put it up on the board yet. It must have just come in. You have long jump over there?
Actually 1 and 3 for Mona Shores, with McNiff and Roberson going 1 and 3, and 8th place. Jordan Bledsoe with very strong jump with him.
Did you want to do the 200 for girls?
Levi's definitely hurt. Because he jumped 23 feet 4 times this year. He only did 20 feet.
Yep. Probably got time to do the 200 right now. If you want.
You do. You have about 15 minutes while the girls' 2 miles going here.
Yeah, we'll wait.
Maybe wait till he gets the gun up.
Once again, us here, Sailor Nation Sports Network, working with the Press Box crew and the Press Box scoreboard, with putting the information up on the board, as well as making sure you guys know as well. So right after we get started on the girls 3200,
3,200, yeah.
we're going to give you the results of the 200 meter.
And we got the results of the women's varsity 200 meters tonight. And in 8th place,
Taking first place, Annabeth Hilland with a school record at 26.08.
Unofficial score.
Unofficial?
Sometimes they don't know. Yes.
All I know is watching her wherever she ran like a bullet out of a gun.
Annabeth was the price of admission tonight for
Yep.
sure. And I would say number 2 is on the track right now from the girls as far as domination on the girls meet. Allison Kuzma from Zeeland East, I would say, will definitely lap the majority of the field, if not the entire field, although the Holland runner, Allison Mason, she'll probably stay ahead. But Mona Shores has a legitimate opportunity to take third here with Robin Hunt.
Sure.
Actually, Robin could potentially take away a runner-up position here. She does need to close that gap a little bit with Holland, but potentially this Holland runner is trying to see if she can keep that pace with Zeeland East. It's just Allison Kuzma is just in a class by herself.
And it's fun to watch somebody that has that type of athletic skill. Regardless of where they're from, to watch that, it's so special to see that level of running.
I mean, as you look at the legs out there and you didn't know anything else and you just watch her run, she just got those two kids have different gears right now, right? But her turnover, her body position, everything is perfect.
Now, Robin, also a good cross-country runner, correct? I remember, covering her for cross-country.
Which is pretty typical, that your 2-milers
Your
are gonna be
2-milers,
better
sure.
cross-country runners as well. So
Nick, did you ever run?
I did 440.
Cross country?
Yeah, cross country?
Yeah.
No.
No, you're not a distance runner?
No. Struggled at 440. No, I'm not a runner at all, period.
Put you on a bike, though. You can go.
Oh, I can go forever. Football, basketball at Muskegon.
You got a timer on this one, Eric?
I did not start the
okay.
timer on this. I was just looking to see where Allison is ranked in the state, and she's a top 10 in the 100, the 1600, and the 2 mile. So, but you can just tell, just a different level.
How much scholarship opportunity is there in track and field these days?
Yeah, you're starting to see programs bring it back. I saw Ferris State just brought it back. As a matter of fact, an athlete we didn't talk about tonight was, I know he had to quit because of some injuries and getting ready for his college season, is Jackson Helmer.
Yeah.
Jackson has signed to run cross country with Ferris State next year. Jackson took a path I'd never heard of before. I've never known a high school athlete to forego his senior season of cross country to go run an Ironman. So Jackson trained and ran an Ironman, so 2.1 mile swim, 110 mile bike, and then a full marathon all in the same day, consecutively. And he went down and
where at?
He went down and ran that in Texas in the fall.
Wow.
And so I'd never heard of that before. He got his scholarship, actually, since he didn't run in high school cross country his senior year, based on his previous performances. But he learned a lot. Ironically, he did not get injured. He's often been injured in his high school career. And the reason that he thinks he was able to complete that is because the swimming and the biking did so much, the equivalent of stretching out so much, which I think a lot of runners overlook. And so
that's why aquatic therapy is so important to the program.
Eric, do you remember, it would have been back in our years, do you remember the Y in Grand Haven that used to run the junior Ironman triathlon down there?
Sure.
I did that one year with Aaron Borgman. Do you remember Aaron Borgman? Yeah.
Sure.
And they remember they listed the top 35 finishers in each. I finished 35th. That was the last time that I wanted to have anything to do with running or anything like that.
When my kids were younger, I did a few triathlons. It's a pretty fun sport, and of course, I see the Cotners around here. Beth Cotner went on to have a great collegiate career as a triathlete from Mona Shores. I see that she just graduated, so I think she's going to graduate and transfer somewhere. It looks like she still has a little bit of. I think she only had used 3 years of eligibility.
Oh wow!
But tremendous athlete, and her dad, Kurt, was a great runner when I was in school.
So looking at the overall scores, the men's with 15 of 17 events reported, we are tied for third place with Muskegon. But as we expected, Zeeland East and West running away with this. Still tight between first and second.
And only 8 points separate. Well, 7.5.
This would be one of them where it might come down to that 440 relay.
Yeah, which will be
absolutely fun. Yeah. Now you're going to need a little help from your friends.
Sure.
In that 400 relay, you're going to have to, like if you're Zeeland West, you're going to need to win and then have Muskegon, Shores, and Reese Puffer beat East. Right. But that's a great way to finish.
And the women's varsity, 14 of 17 events. Shores in third place with
again,
66.
I mean, it's almost, go back up to the men a minute, Joe.
It's exactly the same.
Yeah, East.
With the exception.
East-West Shores.
Yep.
East-West Shores. Yeah, God.
And they're still, we're tied in men's with Muskegon at 54 apiece.
Yeah.
And we are only up by, 8 points there in the women's as well, above Holland.
So we could finish in third place for the men and women, really. It'd be great. I mean,
that'd be a great finish. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it's been, other than a couple of, events here and there, track and cross country both over the past few years they've been in a growth point in the sports, and they're starting to see a lot more athletes succeed.
And I don't want to be anticlimactic, but Muskegon does not have an entry into the 4x400 relay. So there are only 6, so we are guaranteed to pick up at least 1 point as long as we run that for the men. Always great to beat Muskegon.
In whatever sport.
That's That's right.
And whatever. So while we're watching the women's 3200, oh gosh, it just hurts me. My legs hurt just thinking about that. I'm telling you what. We'll talk a little bit about, we have a broadcast tomorrow, and as of today, this is news for you, Nick, so you need to pay attention. We are moving to 10 o'clock broadcast time tomorrow for girls lacrosse. They had to move that up due to the availability of officials. So we will be broadcasting starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. And assuming it doesn't get rained out, lightninged out, they will play in the rain. Tomorrow's contest will be the last on this field for Sailor Stadium and regular turf and on grass.
Are you selling the sod, Todd?
Todd, how many times have I told you there's a
I'm going to come snatch him up then if he's not.
He's going to bring a shovel. So kind of as expected here, just an update on the race. Allison Kuzma.
Oh, well, I'm going to pull in here Sunday then and grab a little bit here. I need a couple spots. Can I come in Sunday and grab a little bit for somewhere? Yeah, he'll never.
Just running away from it, that's for sure. Did you say we are still sitting in third? Is that correct?
That's correct.
With Robin?
Running strong, yeah. The Holland runner, Allison Mason, clearly in second. So we quite. And then it gets to be quite jumbled from fourth to fifth because we're starting to have our top three are starting to lap the majority of the field here. But I will say Robin Hunt is running extremely strong right now and may look a little bit better than the second place runner. She's just about 50 yards ahead is the only problem she's got right now.
See, we got 2 laps left?
Yes, I believe that's correct.
So if she does have gas in the tank, she could close that 50 yards.
She could close it. But I think Robin, the girl from Holland, seasoned enough to know what she's doing out there. I don't see a big collapse out of her. She's not going to catch first, and she's probably just in cruise mode, as Robin is probably as
sure.
well.
This is 800 meter?
No, 2 mile.
2 mile, yeah, okay. Oh, 3,200 meter run, yeah. So we got the speed of 4x1. Boy, this is the last. That's a nice way to finish a meet, though. With the skill kids, just nothing but sheer speed.
Yeah, that 4x400 is always a fun one.
It's a fun.
Used to like running.
All right.
Well, not only do you have to be fast, but the handoffs again are so critical, and they have to be so much better because they're just so quick.
Yeah, that's right. You can make up a little bit on the 4x400. You can make up for a bad handoff a little bit, but as you continue to go on in the season, you'll see tonight the majority of the teams will probably do what they call an open palm, where you're looking back to receive the baton. But as you get into regionals and state meet, and if you want to, it's got to be a blind.
And we try to do that at FCA. We always taught the blind one, and we would yell stick. And then and then it goes back automatically. You don't have to turn around. You don't have to do that.
Yep.
Stu Scholl was our head. He and I shared it, but he was the tech guy. Ran track at the collegiate level, and boy, he was just a joy to work with. We had fun.
You were right, Eric. She just about lapped. I think she may have lapped just about the entire field.
The only one she's not going to lap is the Mona Shores athlete and the Holland athlete, I believe. But
she's about to lap right here on the finish.
Yeah. So you can see her finishing, and then the girl from Mona Shores is going to be about 300 meters behind because they're both going to hit the straightaway. So that corner's 100 meters.
Yep.
So she finishes as everybody else still has.
It's interesting, too. I was watching a lot of the runners this year, more than I ever have. They look at their watch now, too. A lot of the kids are wearing a watch. Back in the day, when you guys were 1 and 2, you couldn't wear any jewelry. You could have nothing on.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised they let the high school runners do that. You relied on the starter would call the time.
Right,
times,
right, exactly.
You would adjust your pace accordingly.
So after... And I would say at 16 of 17 events complete, after the 3,200, Muskegon Mona Shores boys are in third place alone.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good.
Zealand East is up 196
By
to
7.5 points. Yeah, 7.5 points still.
West, so
Yeah.
it could easily become that 440 relay. The women's 15 of 17. Muskegon Mona Shores up 76 over 62 for third and fourth place. And again, Zealand East 216 to 147 over Zealand West.
And Holland's going to gain 2 points on us here in this event.
Correct.
As we pick up a third for 6 points and they pick up a second for 8. So I don't know. So that'll make that a little bit tighter. Nobody's catching Zealand East.
No.
Nobody is going to catch Zealand East. It's not even close.
No. And potentially you could watch for them to, when you watch at the end of the year, you watch for the state championships. They potentially could be the state champions.
Oh, yeah. You look at some of these schools, and we've been talking about it throughout our broadcast. Certain schools do certain things real well. You look at Muskegon now, football and basketball pretty much is their primary sports right now. East is pretty diverse, West is pretty diverse. Shore seems to be getting more and more diverse with, how competitive all the other sports are. And but this has really been, Athletic Director Conrad has done a nice job organizing and running. It's gone very, very smooth, I think.
Oh, I mean, we're getting out of here before the sun sets.
Yeah, right.
This is as good of a run meet as you could hope for.
And Muskegon certainly has shown, picking some of those kids, they've got some speed. If those kids are young, boy, Muskegon's going to be loaded. A lot of good things. And Coach Fairfield does a nice job with those kids.
Yeah, Muskegon's challenge always is they have typically had great
speed kids. Distance kids has been a struggle.
Yeah, and some field events. So if you look at the score today, Muskegon did not score a point in any field event.
Really?
Correct.
Even in long jump?
No, even long
or high jump?
Yeah, no.
Wow, Eric.
So that's the difference, because we definitely picked up. I mean, well, in long jump we were 1-3, right?
Yeah, right.
Robert Roberson and McNiff went 1-3. So,
yeah. And all those little points, 1, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, whatever, it just accumulates down the course of an event.
It just matters, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're lining up for our final event. This will be a 2-turn stagger, so they'll have to hold their lane until after the first exchange, and then they can cut in.
Okay. I wouldn't have known any of what he's saying right here. Do you know that?
I'm telling you, it's been a
joy. Eric, it's been
you.
wonderful to have you.
Well, I'd been around it long enough, so it is kind of nice to get back and watch a meet. Usually I'm watching the field events, right?
This is a great way for you to get back into it, to see it here. So,
and with my kids having gone up through sports, and I coached a lot of the kids in basketball and youth football and things.
So what other sports did you play at Shores?
So I was just a cross country and track athlete, but when we moved here,
did you not play any baseball?
No. I was a better track athlete than I was cross country. But,
okay.
We had a pretty powerful team back in '91 with. I remember going to the city meet for cross country and one of the coaches raising their hand and asking if Shores had to run. I believe we took 1 through 5 in that meet and scored 15.
Who else was good back then?
In the area?
Yeah, no.
Oh, in Shores?
Yeah.
So there was a kid named Chris Cook who ended up going to Northwestern and is a really accomplished surgeon in New York. A guy named Bob Horan, Scott Vanderstel.
Bob Horan. He was huge runner, cross country.
Scott Vanderstel, which would have been your year as well. So we always had a pretty good core group. When I was young, sophomore, and there was Don Smith.
Who else played football in your group that I coached against? Now listen to him.
Yeah, DeLong would have been. In my year, we had John Huizinga, we had Adam Subchuk, Aaron Borgman, myself.
Wahlberg was with me.
Wahlberg.
Eric Wahlberg.
Yep.
I coached against Eric.
Jason Wright.
Yeah, Jason Wright.
Yeah, wow.
Dan White he played football too, didn't he?
Danny was a tight end.
Yep.
Yeah. Who was your varsity coach? Loving?
No,
it would have been Jewett.
Jewett. Yep.
Dean Jewett. And your JV coach was who?
Ooh.
Joe. Was it Joe
Perry?
Perry, probably.
It was Joe Perry.
Yeah.
Yep, it was Perry.
Where was Koziak in that group?
So Koziak would have been 2 years behind you, Joe?
Yeah,
Like
it would
94?
have 90. Well, yeah, it would have been 1 year behind me.
Or so 93.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he graduated in 93?
No, he graduated in 94. I graduated in 93.
Oh,
No.
right. Okay, sorry.
Okay, Koziak graduated in what year?
94, I believe.
94, 93. Yeah, see, he screwed up one of my perfect seasons. The last game of the year.
Blame
Because
him.
Joe Perry was head coach here then, and Joe and I coached together at Muskegon. God, I haven't seen Joe in forever.
I think Lou Graham was on the staff back.
Oh, Lou Graham was still on there. Yep.
Yeah, and Lou was
Sure
probably
was.
wearing shorts too
Oh,
all
I'm sure.
the
And
time.
short
Well, him
sleeves.
and Larry always wore shorts.
Yeah.
Larry Preston. There was never a reason.
Now,
not
Larry
to wear
Preston,
shorts.
died 3-4 years ago?
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
And,
Actually saw his son 2 weekends ago. He's a volleyball official, kind of carrying the
Where at? Now, is he down in Kalamazoo?
I don't know where Matt lives.
No, I
We
don't
were at
think
a
Matt
huge
lives in town here anymore.
Yeah, we were at a huge volleyball tournament, which they call officials in from all over. So
Sure.
he was on one of the
Okay.
courts.
Yep.
Here we
But
go.
just like his dad, right? His dad was an official in just
Oh,
about
forever,
everything.
yeah.
440 relay, men's first. Here we go.
Larry was a good guy. Matt's a good guy. Yeah, all you guys are just.
So Reese Puffer out to a great start in 6, but Zeeland East is looking as if they really want to establish themselves early.
Yeah.
He may have gone out a little too hard because now we're seeing Holland and West start to reel him in a little bit.
Is this running heats as well?
No, it is not, and Mona Shores does not have an entry in this
That's
race.
what I was thinking.
Yeah,
They do not?
we did, but apparently we're scratched. We had 6 teams entered and 1 not running, so does not look like Shores or Muskegon are going to run in this one.
Okay.
Shores, Muskegon, or Wyoming are all scratches here. Reese Puffer with a great opening leg.
Great opening leg is right.
So now they'll be able to cut in after this exchange.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, I'm sorry, it's a turn. So he's going to be able to turn in after this last corner.
Now, is there an official over there that tells him
There
that he
will
can?
be, yeah. No, they won't tell them. They just know when they hit that cone right there, they can now go over.
Okay.
There will be an official there watching to make sure it's clean and nobody cut over early.
Okay.
But Reese Puffer inspired here.
Yeah.
And Clay Grant did not run the 200. He is the 800 and mile champion. He is in this race.
Just lost a little bit of gas right there, though, on that corner.
That is not Clay, but that could have been who opened that first
Now,
400.
is this West? Is this West
This
in the
is
lead
West
now?
right here in the lead.
Yeah, that just came by.
Again,
Yeah.
Reese Puffer being inspired here. They came in ranked last in this race. Caden Malaki, I believe, just ran. Caden Malaki on the track now.
And I'll tell you, the mile relay and the 440 relay, I held that junior high record along with Ryan Zolman.
Oh, yeah. Boy, Reese Puffer running really well. They've made up some ground here.
Yeah.
Their second runner died a little bit, but this guy's wheeling in Zeeland.
Sure is.
A little bit.
Or West here.
This is third leg coming up, correct?
This will be the 4th leg coming up.
Fourth leg coming up.
Yeah. So
Okay.
this will be our anchor leg.
Nice handoff, too.
There we go. Halfway clean.
So we're about to see if there's enough to reel it in. He's got quite a bit in the tank. It looks like he's getting a little ground on him.
Yeah, I believe the Zeeland West runner is.
He's got about a 30-yard lead on him right now.
But boy, this is a great run by
Yeah.
Reese Puffer. They came in ranked last, and are gonna. Coach Grant must have put something together to help get some conference points. And
Is your friend still coaching? Grant is still coaching?
Darren is still coaching.
Is he?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is this kid a senior?
He is, yeah.
Look out.
And I believe he had that opening leg. So Clay Grant would have won the 800, the 1600, and now second in the mile relay.
Sure.
So great meet out of him.
We got a race for third place here.
Yeah.
Holland.
Is that a kid from Union?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
looks
he's
like it
pulling
cramped
up.
out.
Holland, yeah. Zeeland East athletes really encouraging their runner. I think they needed to make sure that they didn't finish too deep. To
Yeah,
make sure
right,
they win the
exactly. There's a
conference
little
championship,
pride
right?
here.
Well, I mean, I think the meet was in question a little bit there. Had they taken
Sure.
fifth or sixth, potentially
Yeah,
West would have passed
right,
them, right,
because
Joe?
they only had a 7.5 point lead.
7.5 points, yep.
I
Yeah.
think they needed that position. That was for the conference championship.
I think
there.
it may very well
Had
have
they
been.
dropped one position there, they would have only picked up 2 points to, was it an 8-point difference at that point?
7.5.
Yeah, so that position coming down the straightaway
Yeah,
was for the
clinched it.
conference championship.
Yeah, it sure
I
was.
believe it'll be within 3.5 points of the that Zeeland.
Okay, we really got to have Eric from now on.
You're darn
okay?
right we
You know,
do.
I mean, it is just.
We darn right we do.
Yes, we do. Yeah.
So very, as we kind of expected, Zeeland East, Zeeland West class the field.
Yeah,
but,
right, yeah, you know, you
great
called
finishes
it
by
and-
them.
All right, the ladies are going to run next.
Boy, you can feel the cool air starting to settle
Yeah,
in, too.
that wonderful.
I would rather run in this nice cool air,
Right
too.
now is the
Yeah.
time to run.
Uh-huh.
Under the lights. That'd be kind of fun under the lights, wouldn't it?
Yeah. You know, the crazy thing to think about is how long ago did Zeeland East and West split? Was it 6 or 7 years, 10 years ago?
It's got to be
it's been
10,
over
I think.
Imagine all those athletes on the same team.
Yeah, oh, God.
I mean, you'd have a hard time even getting your varsity. Your toughest competition would be in practice every day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not only that, but you know how good they'd be in football, too?
yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well, it'd be unfair, right? That's probably why they had to split.
Well, that is one reason. When Traverse City split,
Yeah.
they want to get more kids playing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it can be defeating, too, right? Can certainly be defeating, not playing and being good enough to.
Shillito's just built a nice machine over there. Just wonder why he left East Kentwood.
Who's that?
Shillito went from OV to East Kentwood and just had a machine there. Got into athletes. God. Something must have happened.
So 11:31 for Allison in that 3200.
Great run.
Yep.
And coasted.
Yeah.
I mean, won by a full minute.
Almost
A minute, yeah.
Which is exactly what you said. There's a minute on the field. So.
Fantastic run by Robin Hunt there.
Yeah, Robin Hunt with a 12-minute 39.67.
Yeah, that's really good. So our last event here, Shores is out in lane 6, I believe. I believe we only have 7 teams running.
So what we're
Did
looking...
Muskegon even have
No.
a girls team?
I don't recall.
I don't recall. Trent, did the Muskegon even have a girls runner?
No. Oh, I don't know runner. They have 27 points
Okay,
on
so they have. Okay, the girls did. Wait, we haven't called their name.
No.
No, in anything.
The final total for the teams, Zeeland East 202, Zeeland West 198 for the boys. 198.5.
3.5 points.
Yeah, so they
Yeah.
dropped that position. They'd
Yeah.
lose 2 points and gain. Yeah. So that would have been a 4-point swing. It was.
Mona
for
Shores finishes third. It was 62 over Muskegon 54. Girls are waiting on this final event right now. Obviously, Zeeland East West. It's
but
between
East is going to win it.
Muskegon and Mona Shores and Holland. Do we have runners out there? We do.
We do.
We do.
Lucy Thayer's got the baton right now
Just
for
Holland.
Mona Shores.
They do.
Yep.
So
And, yeah, go ahead.
I don't think they'll be able to catch us, though. We're up by 11 points.
No, they'd have to win and us not. Well, we're going to score a point just by nature.
Right.
There's only 6
So
teams
you
out
tie.
there, so
Yeah.
yeah. The best they could do is pick up 9 points. And they're not going to do that because Zeeland's going to win this. Yeah, so on paper, Zeeland West should be about a 10-second favorite here.
Oh, okay.
Now, they could let some other girls run, and certainly they're prerogative. Holland coming on strong with a big finish here. That's probably their 300-meter runner that I believe won the conference championship earlier.
Now this is the lap where they can cut in, correct?
After this final corner,
Right.
they'll be able to cut in. So for Mona Shore's Katrina Amrin has the baton, and she's gonna.
All right, now they're cutting over.
She's really wanting to cut over right now.
Boy, she cut off quick.
Yeah, and you want to get there as quick as.
Well, you want to get there as quick. Too.
Actually, yeah, fading is okay, just as long as you're there by that next corner. But
correct.
It is defeating when you're on that outside corner. You're the second leg, and everybody's leaving you, and you feel like you're running as fast. It's just because they're running a shorter distance. So. So you gotta love the Holland team really cheering on their runner. There's not.
Well, it's always nice to see the participants right here.
Holland students are very much engaged on this, so I'd love to see that. You know, they don't have a lot of programs to be proud of. The soccer, men's soccer, maybe they're one thing that they're.
Okay, Shores is going to be in 4th place now.
Correct, with Reese Puffer.
Soccer, baseball, they're fairly competitive.
Are they?
Yeah. They used to be in basketball back in the day, but they've fallen off a lot. They've fallen off in a lot of sports. Swimming, they're really good.
Their girls' basketball program, I believe, next year is going to be fairly good.
Is it? Swimming, they're nationally ranked. They're always good in swimming. Always good in swimming.
It is funny how you get certain schools that are experts in certain things. So.
Well, you look at Muskegon, great in basketball and football. Everything else is pretty much non-existent.
Zeeland East and West. Track
and field, absolutely. Although they are pretty good at
football.
Football, certainly. Yeah, I mean, you have some things that cross over here. So
coming up on our final last. Yep, running away with it.
Running away with it. A little surprised that Holland's
staying in there.
Yeah. Still staying strong in second too.
Pretty good lead on Zeeland East right now.
Yeah, East had 9 different girls eligible to run this race. You have to submit what runners may do it, and
you do.
Yeah, so you have who's eligible, and they just I think tried to throw their whole field in there probably.
Okay, who checks to see? So Sally Oates is supposed to run, and she's in it. And then Tracy Austin gets in there, who's not in it. How do they know if you throw a rogue person in there that's not on the list?
I mean, there is a little bit of Scouts honor out there, but you do have to check in before every race. So
you have to check in your name.
You have to check your relay in and say I'm John Doe and I'm running second leg, and then they'll cross-reference the list of submittals, and you can see for Zeeland East they have 9 or 10 names there. So as long as they're one of the 9 or 10 names,
they're good.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is what's funny. I coached all before this was even a thought. There was no computer.
It was a piece of paper.
It was a piece of paper with NCR. So, you had the original, then you had the carbon copy.
Yeah.
You kept the carbon copy. You had to turn it in by a certain point.
Great finish by Holland. Shores is finishing very strong here, so they'll pick up another 2 points or another 4 points for the girls. I think it's thoroughly establishing Shores in 3rd place for both the boys and the girls, right?
Yeah, very competitive for both boys and girls, to be honest with you.
Holland's going to pick a few points up on us there, but we'll still end up in 3rd place. So. And that is the completion.
Joe, you know what I'm going to do for you because I love you so much?
What are you going to do for me?
I'm going to let you take us out of here
tonight.
Well,
let's let the race isn't even finished yet. We should probably...
The race isn't done?
No, the race is not finished.
One.
Oh, I didn't see that person way down there. Well, come on now. Pick it up here a little bit, buddy. All right.
But I will say that this has been a fantastic opportunity to cover track. Really, this is the event that, even if we got to travel, I'm not opposed to that, quite honestly.
As long as Eric comes with us. As long as Eric comes with us, we'll go anywhere for track.
Right. So I think, being ready to broadcast the finals themselves worked out incredibly well. And
it's something for us to learn down the road, as we project, like we do.
Well, now that we know we can pull it off, we'll promote it to the other schools before we come.
Oh, yeah. Well, Todd will and Todd's been great to work with. He always contacts, hey, would that be all right with you guys if we, blah, blah, blah. And most schools have been very obliging to us.
Yeah, that's great. No, this has been fun, guys. I appreciate it.
Oh,
So
thank
they
you.
are going to be presenting the trophies.
Oh, great.
And obviously our Mona Shore Sailors ended up in 3rd place. So I don't know, does that get a trophy, I would presume? Or no? Okay.
No,
First place.
yeah.
Well, 3rd place is a solid finish for
Oh,
both
yeah.
boys and girls. And honestly, if you look at it, the field was run on both boys and girls by Zeeland East and West. And, you take them out, we end up having...
Girls will win the conference outright. Zeeland East and West boys will split the overall because East won today, finished first today. West
Okay. All right.
Oh.
So we were just informed that Zeeland East girls will win outright. Zeeland East boys and Zeeland East West will split because of the win that Zeeland East obviously won today by a very, very small margin, but Zeeland West won the duel whenever that was previously to here.
Yeah, so that's an interesting...
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought this was a separate entity in itself. Oh, okay.
And a lot of different strategies that
Yeah.
go back to that duel that I'm sure
Right,
one of the coaches
yes.
is going to kick themselves for. Like, should
Right.
I have loaded a mile relay to get that
Sure.
extra point? Or I don't know
Right.
what the final score of that duel was, but
But
I would imagine it was probably close like this one. I would be very
well, yeah,
surprised
because
if
it was
wasn't.
4.5 points,
Yes.
3.5 points. It was 3.5 point difference in the boys.
but
Yeah.
sometimes that difference, you were talking earlier about
Yeah.
a point here or a point there. Sometimes that difference is the kid that in dual meets you only score the top 3.
Right.
So
All right.
So I believe
Are they doing a trophy presentation on the field?
I think they've already done it.
Did they?
Yeah. No?
I believe they're going to be doing a trophy presentation on the field. I haven't seen yet whether or not. We'll have to make sure Cohen tries to see it wherever it may end up occurring.
It looks like it's on the right side of that tent there on
Oh,
the
the
south
crowd
side.
going.
Yeah.
I noticed that they're gone from up here, so they got to be down there somewhere. So the trophies, yeah.
Hey, I'm finishing up medals up here. Do you just want to do the trophies? I mean, both your schools are involved. You know what I mean? I'm going to have my announcer kind of explain what's going on.
So Todd is talking with some people on the field. The man of communication. He has been the coordinator of this entire day. I mean, really beyond just this. He has been a very busy guy, and I tell you what,
Oh, yeah.
kudos to him. It has gone off very, very well today, as well as a track meet could go off, quite honestly. I mean, it was
Well,
without
yeah,
a hitch.
well orchestrated, well organized. Everything went smoothly, and we were blessed. Absolutely a perfect day.
Yeah,
man.
it really was
It's,
good weather.
Yeah, I don't know that I've seen a track meet go off as flawless
Yeah.
as this. It was one right after the other.
Yeah, just go.
Those athletes that depend on a poorly run meet, so they get a little extra time between their events, suffered a little bit today. So
Yeah,
So the presentation of the trophy looked like maybe it's occurring out there.
yeah, it kind of looks that
Just
way.
yelled.
Is he ready?
And the center of our trophies, we have another captain team, Josh Blair, representing the south side of the field. On the men's side, we split between Zeeland and Zeeland West.
Once again, Zeeland East, Zeeland West split the conference title because of the West win during their dual meet. They lost to Zeeland East only by 3 points, 3.5 points. Girls, Zeeland East wins outright by a very, very big margin. The Mona Shore Sailors take third, both boys and girls in the conference. So, we're going to do this again. This was actually not bad.
No, it was fun.
It's hard to judge how the logistics are going to work and everything else. I think that they went very, very well. And I think, that's in all seriousness, Eric, you are welcome back for a track meet. If you're available and want to do this, you will be here for it.
Glad to do it. It was fun. Appreciate it, guys.
Very, very knowledgeable, and I'll tell you what, you were fish to water with the broadcast. So very thankful for you being here. With that being said, we are going to be back here bright and early tomorrow bright and early. You're going to be able to get up. That's awfully early.
I know, but
Are you going to? What are you going to say? What are you saying?
there's a really good chance I won't be here just because of something at home.
Oh, it's 10 o'clock. Like, you're not going to be doing anything at 10 o'clock anyway.
Yeah, I probably will be doing it at 8 o'clock.
I won't
So
be here. So.
maybe I will be here by myself.
Are you going to be here?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Eric, you going to be here tomorrow?
No, I will bring the broadcast down if I have to do lacrosse. I know nothing about it.
Oh,
Nor,
okay.
No,
I'd like to watch
we're
it.
hoping to have a couple of people here to help
Oh,
with
okay,
broadcasting.
thank you.
At
So
least
the
one
traditional
person, so.
victory lap being taken
Yes,
out there right
the
now by both
traditional.
Zeeland teams. Did East win both girls and boys?
Zeeland East and
East
West boys split.
Oh, right.
And then East girls won outright.
Well,
so.
and I'll tell you, so that's the way it's going to be in the record, but I guarantee that the Zeeland East team is really celebrating this today because they've got the trophy and those conference meets.
Oh, they mean everything to these kids right now.
And
they're not sharing it either.
And I will say, credit to Zeeland West because East was up about 40 points coming out of the field event. So West really ran strong the whole meet.
Yep.
But when we first got here in the final, or in the finishing results of the shot and disc and all of the field events, I thought it was an insurmountable lead. They just hung on.
They did. Well, with that being said, for Cohen, who has been absolutely
great
wonderful, great job, Cohen up top. For my very dear friend, Mr. Davros, who's going to bail on us tomorrow for some rocks. I mean, that's really Sailor Nation.
That's sad.
Rocks are more important than you to Mr. Nick Davros. No, I gotta pick on him.
Thanks, buddy.
I'm hoping that Steve is listening because I know he'll be chiming in here anytime on.
Yeah,
text
that's right.
messages.
He will be.
But thank you very much. And Mr. Eric Allen, absolutely awesome to have you
Great
here.
job.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
For everybody that has watched us tonight or watches us into the future anytime you want, this broadcast will be available for anybody to watch later. We thank you for joining us here from the John Vandervelde, the Nexus Realty broadcast booth high above Sailor Stadium in the press box. We will see you tomorrow morning for girls lacrosse. Until then, everybody take care, be safe, and see you then.